Okay, we should be good. Let me make sure. Let's check this. Okay, I don't know why it's even there. Should be good, should be good. Oh, we got the wrong mic. There we go. It was connected to the wrong mic for some reason. It was trying to connect to my webcam mic, which yikes, that would have been some bad audio quality, baby. But we shall be good now. Yes, we should. Okay, got the playoffs. I gotta post this link and all that real quick. Okay, fine. Copy. Go to this group tab. I am live for the DC Defenders versus Orlando Storm playoff game. And then we'll control V that in post. So we set that up, and now let's go over here real quick. Gotta quick pull this poll up. I completely forgot to do it last week on both games, I believe. So DC Subkick Surfer, Orlando, and then we will post that one. Post that, and then I gotta go over here because for some reason my TV has started to not actually get ABC, so I gotta go to streaming. So we gonna be a bit behind, but it's okay. And for some reason it doesn't save my account. Okay, so I gotta get my earbuds in to be able to actually listen to the game. Okay, let me make sure I remember this. Okay, and we should be good. What's up, Marvin? Okay, getting in there, yep. And so we good. Gonna have to be streaming the game, sadly, but it is what it is. You know what I mean? Okay, so let's go over here. And we'll put that on for now. Nice, okay. And there we go. So we're getting ready for this. So obviously we have the playoffs starting today. Obviously, well, both games are today. So like I said, we are doing essentially a doubleheader stream. Now, we technically it's two streams because like once the first game ends like that, I'm gonna swap to the other stream for the sake of VODs and all that. So we are doing the doubleheader stream though. Obviously, we have the Storm versus the Defenders is game one, then we have the Kings versus the Battlehawks is game two. So we got two big games today, and then next week is the championship game. But today is the last streams of this season because I'm going to be at the title game. Didn't make it last year, and so I did the stream last year. The year before that, I did one playoff game stream, and then I went to the game. So this year it's back to sort of like 2024. So that's what it is right now. Okay. Let's go over here real quick. Okay. Okay, getting everything done real quick. Make sure everything is set up. Everything looks good. So again, the stream's going to start, or the game's going to start in about 10 minutes. When the game officially starts is about 10 minutes. So we'll be ready for that. Let's keep going over here. Just trying to look at everything set up. Notifications. Who's your pick? Ooh, say Rick posting that. Yeah, I know my initial picks have not aged the best, but it's okay. DC will make it back. I think I picked DC to get far. I don't remember exactly how far, but I did pick that. But we'll see what ends up happening, though. You know what I mean? Let's see if Anthony Beck will lose again. Probably. I mean, surely him or St. Louis has got to win. Like, surely there's no way they both just lose. You know what I mean? But just surely they don't both lose. That's all you can really say. But them or the Battlehawks, one of them's got to get the W. You would at least hope you would think one of them gets the win, but never say never with these two guys. With the Battlehawks as a team and the Beck as a coach, we'll see what ends up happening. But one of them's got to get the W. Storm versus Defenders. I will say I gotta remember to rewatch that video, or not the video, I guess technically, but I know Matt did something with Greg Parks. I definitely gotta go check that one out and see how that works. because I know that was a big stream, was him talking to Greg Parks about the attendance and all that, so I definitely got to go check that one out. But that should be a good watch one at some point later today. Or when one... Dude, they both lose, that'd be so funny. It would be hilarious if they both were to lose. It really would be something else if both were to somehow lose. That was crazy. And then we'll go to the United Ball, and we'll have a new champion. The only thing with DC, though, is that Orlando doesn't have a ground game. Like, that's been their biggest weakness, is they don't have a ground game. Like, it's not even like they have a weak ground game. They don't even have one. So, like, that's the one thing that really bodes well for DC, is knowing that fact that, like, you're never going to be out of this game. This game is always going to be within reach because of Orlando's lack of a ground game. Now, if their ground game actually performs, which, again, they historically haven't, if they do, then there's a very real shot that the defenders are going to get beat. But because of that issue with Orlando, DC basically just needs like a couple things to go their way. I mean, if they get like even one turnover, there's a real shot they end up winning just because of how these two teams play. So we'll see. But we got the United Ball. Yeah, definitely not good during the World Cup. That's just unfortunate because the World Cup starts, I believe, what is it, like the 13th is when it starts officially? Yeah, the 11th. So yeah, it's unfortunate, but you know, it could be worse. You know, at least today is solid. You know what I mean? Like, when you look at today, we have pretty much nothing. Like, Roland Garros finished. So, like, you've got the Memorial today. You've got, like, a race. But all things considered, there's really nothing going on today. So, at least these two playoff games, there really is, like, no real competition. Like, at all. There's no finals game today. Even if there was, it wouldn't be till 8 anyway. But there's literally no finals game for either series. So, that's huge for the league. But Stanley Cup final, man. That hurt. Made this 4-goal comeback just to lose in double overtime on an own goal. Terrible. Terrible ending. You know, could be worse. At least the Knicks are doing decent. So, like, haha, funny, New York's going to literally burn to the ground in a couple weeks after the Knicks win. But, man, this Carolina Hurricanes, it's rough. I will say, man, for a Spurs fan, I don't know Mike is here yet, but for the Spurs fans, I do feel sorry for you. That series is over. Like, let's call it like it is, right? They're not winning 4 games when they have to play 3 in New York. The odds of that happening are just unfathomably small. I mean, never say never, but let's call it like it is, right? Brunson played another bad game. The refs were thoroughly behind San Antonio, and the Knicks still pulled off the win. So, like, if you're a Spurs fan, man, you must be sick to your stomach. I mean, yeah, they didn't nearly choke it, but, like, part of the issue is that Cat was, forced to be on the bench for a while because the refs were just calling fouls. Like, he would just be standing there and they'd call a foul on him for existing. And then it was like, it just... Tony Brothers, man, that was a terrible game of officiating. But they did pull it off in the end. I mean, they won 2 games in San Antonio, and San Antonio is not the home court advantage. The home court advantage, the only home court advantage in this series is New York. And the fact that they're now up 2-0. I mean, if it was 1-1, like, this is what I was saying. I told you guys this, I think, in the last stream. I said New York had a very real shot to win this series if they blitzed San Antonio. I told you guys I had this. If the Knicks were to win, it would be in 5. They would not win an extended series. And right now, they are on pace to sweep. Like, they have a very high likelihood of sweeping this series because they have 2 games in New York. I still believe it's going to end in 5. I think they can definitely split this and then go win the last game in San Antonio. That's what I said. This team had to win in 4 or 5. They could not win an extended series, and it's looking like they're going to win a very quick series. The way the Spurs play, if you allow this Spurs series to go, the Spurs are going to beat you. But if you're able to just blitz them right off the bat like that, you'll win. I mean, I think I told you guys, I thought it was going to be you split the first 2 games in San Antonio, and then you win 3 straight. Or technically 4, but they might just outright sweep the Spurs, and that's a very real likelihood. Because remember, Jalen Brunson has played like 1 good quarter basketball, and they're still up 2-0. If Brunson were to be even mediocre in games 3 and 4, I mean, in New York, it ain't gonna be close, man. But we'll see. That next game is tomorrow, so we'll see how that goes. Hurricanes. Technically, my prediction is still on. I said that they were going to split both home series. We'll see if the Hurricanes are able to come back in game 4. Hopefully they can, but His team, man, something else, but it's something else for sure. Mm, mm, something else. Okay, let's get this all done for this hour. And we just had the final, what should be the final play there, so we should have the actual game being put on in a second. We ready? It's that time in Daytona Beach, baby. The doubleheader. ABC followed by Fox. They got Kings versus Battlehawks playoff items. I'm fine with the Spurs and Knicks, so I wanted to go all the way to Game 7. Yeah. Shame it ain't looking like that. I mean, never say never, but man, you're down 2-0, and you lost both home court games, and you're going to New York in their first finals game in like forever. I mean, oh my God. Like, this is not what you want. If you're oh man, you're just, it ain't looking good for the Spurs. It really isn't. Like, there's a very, very, very high likelihood this could be a sweep. Like, let's call it a very high likelihood that this could be a sweep, which even I didn't think was going to happen. I thought it was going to be in 5 if the Knicks were to win. I mean, man, you get 2 games in New York. You only got to win 2 games. You got to win 2 out of 5 games. No, I take it back. It's, 4 games. No, yeah. I'm blanking. You know what I'm saying. You got to win 2 out of 5. Yeah, you got to win like 2 out of 5 games, and 3 of them are in New York. So you don't even have to win out in New York. If you win 2 out of 3 New York games, you win the series, in 6. So we'll see. But it is a shame. Ooh, that music playing. We got the game starting soon. Yeah, I know pretty much everybody wants the Hurricanes to win. Well, let me rephrase it. They don't want the Canes to win. They just don't want Vegas to win, but that hurt yesterday. I mean, I get it. It was a historic comeback. We still lost. We had 2 own goals. Sean Walker with one of the worst things you'll ever see. The puck wasn't even near the net, and he just tipped it in. Then Martinook hit it right off the back of Bussy's skate. I'm worried about Tuesday. I'm worried that Carrier is going to be back in time for that game because I'm going to be completely honest. I don't think we should be playing with 11 skaters on the forwards. The Canes looked so much better when they were forced to swap their lines consistently without Carrier. So I wouldn't even replace him. I get that you would probably put Kotkaniemi in and you would just put him as like the 12th guy. I wouldn't even play him. I just keep it as 11 guys and keep rotating because the offense looked much better there. And Anderson should not play again. Like, I've talked about it a while. Freddie's entire postseason run got heavily overrated because of a lot of, great stat lines. But when you really look back on it, there's an argument he played the 2 worst offenses in the entire postseason in the Flyers and the Senators. And you could argue that talent discrepancy, he was the worst goalie in every series. Dan Vladar versus the Hurricanes is probably better than what, Freddie was against the Flyers, for instance. Linus Ullmark was incredible in that series, but he played the Hurricanes, whereas Freddie was playing the Senators. You know what I mean? So I think when you consider that, Freddie's postseason run has been pretty overrated in hindsight. And when you look at how the bus came in and immediately... The bottom line is the bus allowed 0 shots, right? The only shot that went in was Martinook scoring an own goal. So he really didn't allow a single goal. He stopped the Marner penalty shot, which Freddie would have easily given up. So we'll see. Knowing Rod Brindamore, he's going to go back to starting Freddie. He's going to put Carrier back in the lineup, and it's going to be the same damn lines. We're going to lose again, but we'll see. Sup, G-Man? You ready? Good to go to that St. Louis game, man? I know you're going for the Kings, but yeah. Look at that. They're talking about the NFL history of teams playing 3 straight weeks. Look at slinging Sammy Baugh. That's arguably a top 10 quarterback of all time right there, Sammy Baugh. That's a legend. But we'll see. Jason Bean on the way to St. Louis to see the Kings. The Kings, they should be the favorite. For some reason, they're still underdogs. I mean, that's the team that should be the favorite to win it all, and they're like the underdogs. But, hey, Jason Bean, man, he ain't playing to beat Orlando. He's playing to get the chance to play against Louisville. Third straight week in a row is crazy, but we got third straight week in a row. I mean, you're right, Adrian, but it's like, I mean, you're right. It's finally something because this core had not won a single thing whatsoever. But like, I feel like this Cup final is exposing to a more broad audience the issues of this Hurricanes team. Because I've said for years now, and if you go on my Twitter, for as long as I've had it, you'll know I've said this. I believed Brind'Amour has been an overrated coach to a degree. I understand he's a Hurricanes legend, but when you look at a lot of the struggles this team has had in recent years, a lot of it falls on coaching issues, not understanding how to fix the power play, being content to deal with the same goalie issues every single year, the over reliance on the same old, same old. And I think people are starting to realize that it takes, like, you have to do so much to force Brind'Amour to make any change. It's insane. Tortorella went into this series and said, I'm only going to play 5 defensemen. One of them gets hurt, and he still tries to get away with only playing 4. Like, he's willing to do certain changes. Brind'Amour is forced to do them. So, like, I'm going to be honest, I don't view any credence in him putting in Bussy as good coaching. That's not good coaching. That's you were forced to do it. Bussy should have started game 2. In all honesty, he really should have been brought in the Montreal series, but wasn't. Showing Fred Kais's stats on the side there. Already start. Wow, that looks like a good crowd for Daytona Beach. That looks like a good crowd. Okay, why is my audio delayed? Yeah, let's see if this works. Okay, well, it's okay. But yeah, we'll see. I said Orlando 29-21. Hey, we'll see. I had a similar score, but the other way. I had DC winning this game. I could definitely see one of these games going to OT. I mean, a third straight matchup between these two teams, that's a very high likelihood that could be an OT game. Then obviously you have the other one, but yeah. I think it's okay. I haven't noticed it a ton, the NBA Finals core. I think it's, it's okay. But I just think that, overall the finals, I'm losing interest, but while gaining interest, because I'm like, the Knicks are actually going to win the finals, which is crazy, but they are, but we'll see. Return is up to the 25, the 30, gets to the 35, spins again to the 40, down about the 42-yard line as Xavier Valade. Their ball is out, but they're going to look like they're going to call it down by contact, and even then it does look like DC recovered it anyway. So we'll see. Man, that sucks, A-Dog. That's rough. I know I talked about it before, but the fact they lost the whole DAZN thing was really stupid. I don't know why they didn't bring that back to allow you to just, watch the game on DAZN. I really hate that they did that. I know that was a big talking point before the season started, was the fact there was like, how are you going to watch this game if you're not in America? And the league was like, well, let's see what happened to Jason Bean. Obviously, Jason Bean came in last week, was passing-wise terrible until the end of the game where he was good. Running the ball, he was really good, so we'll see what happens here. 1st and 10 at the 42-yard line for the defenders. In shotgun, ball is snapped. Bean looks to the right side of the field, throws it quick, and it's going to be caught for about a 7-yard gain. Going to be at the 49-yard line for the DC defenders, 2nd down. Obviously, DC is playing to try and make their 3rd overall championship game, which would tie the Birmingham Stallions in terms of championship games made, which would fully solidify them as the 2nd best overall or 2nd most successful franchise in this era of spring football history. Ball is snapped. They hand it off to Deion Jackson, who cuts to the right. And it's a good play by Orlando's defense. They're going to stuff him, though he probably gets about half a yard in forward progress. So it's going to be a very, 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 very short 3rd and 3. Though they have not crossed the 50 yet, unless they give him a really generous spot, meaning they still could punt if they don't get anything in this next play. But we'll see. 3rd down now for the DC defenders. In shotgun, 3 receivers up top of your screen, 1 at the bottom of your screen. Deion Jackson has 2 Beans right in the backfield with him. Ball is snapped. Throws it to the left. It is going to be caught. And he gets the first down by about another 6 yards. So about a 7-8 yard play right there for the DC defenders to the first down. First and 10 for the DC defenders. In shotgun once again. Ball is snapped. They hand it off. Cuts inside. Gets about 4 yards on the carry. Now it's going to be second down. Second and about 6. Second and 7 for the DC defenders. DC has not been insanely good in offense the last 2 weeks against this Orlando team, so they can get something here that will be huge. Remember, Matt McCrane has kicked 4-point field goals, so even though they have technically crossed that barrier, he still is in field goal range. Granted, he's been a bit shaky as of late, but we'll see what happens. In shotgun, ball is snapped. Bean throws it over the middle, and it is going to be incomplete. If it was jumped a bit quicker, it could have been intercepted, but not really too close either way. So third down for the DC defenders, 3rd and 7. Twelve and a half minutes left in the first quarter. 2 receivers to the top of your screen, 2 at the bottom of your screen, in shotgun. Seven seconds left in the play clock. Trying to call an audible. He's got 3 seconds to snap this ball. And they call a timeout. That is some egregious play right there from Jason Bean in the offense. That's a terrible timeout to take. You're in the very first drive of the game within 5 minutes, and you're calling a timeout in 3rd and 7. Overall, even the timeout itself, I don't like in that scenario. You have a kicker that can make a 4-point field goal, so where you are on the field, losing 5 yards is not the end of the world. Especially because of the fact that you are using a timeout way too early. That was definitely a bad timeout, but again, a lot of that's on the offense. They were up there set with about 16 seconds left and never snapped the ball. Definitely some issues with Jason Bean and the overall play calling. That was a bad sequence right there for DC. So it's going to be 3rd and 7 after the timeout. I mean, you're not wrong, Gary. I mean, if DC is able to make the championship game, you're going to have a much better crowd overall. I still think it's going to be a decent crowd, even if they don't make it, because DC is just a better overall hub than St. Louis was because of, there's reasons to go to DC. But, that's, obviously we'll wait and see till next week for that. But let's see what DC does. 3rd and 7 for the defenders now. In shotgun. 2 receivers at both sides of the ball. Ball is snapped. Looks to the right side of the field. Throws it. Going to be caught about the 30-yard line up to the 25. Breaks a tackle to 20. Gets to the 15. And it's going to be down to about the 11, 12-yard line. Great play for the DC defenders right there. You had to do that good play. If you're going to waste a timeout like that, you better get a first down. That was a great play right there. Great move. He easily could have been tackled by 2 different guys. Was able to break both of them. Great play for the DC defenders right there. Still not 1st and goal there at 1st and 10, but we'll see what happens. Sup, T-Dog? Hey, DC versus St. Louis, the big rivalry will be a sick one. Ball is snapped. They hand it off. Cuts inside. Gets about 1.5 yards, 2 yards right there on the first down play for the defenders. Showing the 4th best percentage in the UFL. Granted, 18-29 is not the greatest stat line of all time, but yeah. I picked DC and the Kings to win. I picked technically the 2 upsets. I don't know why the Kings aren't favorites. No disrespect, but the Kings should be the favorite in that game. But I picked the 2 underdogs to win. I think that DC, 3rd time's a charm for them, and I think the Kings are just in too good a roll. But if Perez can revert back to his 2023 postseason Renegades form, different story. Ball is snapped. Throws it over the middle. It's going to be caught by Briley Moore for about 6 yards right there. Briley Moore has a little chip on his shoulder. Both him and Neville got injured, and they ended up giving Neville the all-UFL tight end spot, despite, I think, Briley Moore being the overall more impactful player to a degree. So he's definitely got a chip on his shoulder today. Great play right there by the defenders. Talking about Jason Bean already having to look. 3rd and 2 for the DC defenders. This is probably 4-down territory unless they lose yardage here. Just the way this DC team is playing. You use the timeout. I think they will be aggressive. So this is probably 4-down territory if they do not get this. 5 seconds left on the play clock. Ball is snapped. They hand it off to Jackson, who tries to cut inside. There is a flag, and they're going to lose about 2 yards on the play. So we'll see what this flag is, but if the flag is on the offense, you're just going to decline that and force a field goal. They're communicating right now. Sup, Joshua? They were going to call an offensive penalty, but they're picking up the flag. So it is going to be a field goal. You lost 2 yards, kick the field goal here. It's fourth and, they're calling it 4th and 3, but it's really 4th and 4, and you're still not at the red zone, or not at the goal. So field goal is the right call here to make it a 3-0 game. I definitely think they could do. I mean, Perez was incredible in that postseason run, so there is a very real shot he could pull it off in that one, but we'll see. The Kings, I feel like they're going to, get revenge for that game a few weeks ago, but we'll see. Field goal kick is up, and it is good. Matt McCrane kicks it. It is 3-0 for the 25-yard field goal, but there is a flag. Let's see what this flag is. This could be really bad if it's on the defense. Let's see. Ooh, neutral zone infraction on the defense. That's going to be a first down. Oh. I guess it's not. Okay. But field goal is good. So 3-0 defense has the lead. Okay, there's no way the Kings just posted a 6-7 joke on their timeline. Okay. That's bad. That's bad. Oh my god. Using the 6-7 joke is something else. Yeah, talking about some stuff. Just seeing the post that they're putting on Twitter right now. Notifications. Okay, well, we're in commercial break. I love sometimes they put the Fox thing gets, done quickly, and then sometimes it takes a second for it to load. I guess the penalty was a bit weird, so it's still waiting, for it to load over there, but, Oh, not the Dave and Buster's commercial. Let's see, first drive right there, 4-5. I mean, it's great stat line for first drive. I mean, it was a solid one overall, but still hasn't been updated. It's hilarious. Hey, Joshua with the $5 donation. Big thank you. I mean, dude, it's crazy. It's the last day of streams for this season. I mean, like I said, I might do one in the off season doing a review of the season, but it's crazy. It's the last streams of the season because I'm not doing the championship games. Still be there, but big thank you, Joshua, for the donation. Crazy, man. Hey, this is a great year for streams, honestly. 2 every single week. We were able to keep it up like last year. 20 and 20 on Friday Night Football games across both seasons. Doing both playoff games again. So, I mean, not counting the championship games, I mean, that's like 44 streams. That's crazy, but over 2 years, 44 streams, but crazy, man. Big thank you, Josh. Put that there. If I end up getting more into the CFL, I definitely could see myself doing it. But even the NFL and college, I didn't end up doing too many streams last year. I think the year prior, I actually had more NFL and college streams overall. I think it's just something about the bigger the league. For those ones, it's, not the same. And also, I don't know if I really even have a lot of channels at CFL. I'm doing pretty decent right now. Could be a bit better in certain areas, but overall pretty solid. But we'll see how this next week goes. I'm looking forward to going to the title game, but I'm also not looking forward to driving again, but it is what it is. And speaking of it is what it is, I guess this is just not updating. There we go. So at 3 yards accepted. Oh. What? Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. I thought that's what they did. Okay. I thought that's what they did. That's what you guys heard me. I thought they were going to accept the penalty and go for it. So the field goal is off the board. They did accept the penalty and they're going for it. Again, this is, like I've said it before, the officials this year have been bad. Respectfully, UFL is supposed to be the best officiating of all the leagues. It's been bad this year. That's another example of that. But, so the corrected call is that it was offsides on the defense. They accepted the penalty, so it's first down, or it's 4th and 1 at the half-yard line because it's only a half yards to the goal line. They run it in the middle, and it should be a first down. I think he got it with forward progress. So if you're wondering why it's not an automatic first down, that penalty is not an automatic first down, and because it's at the red zone, it's half the distance to the goal line, which was 3 yards, which put it just shy. That's why it's a bit weird why they didn't get it there. But there should be a first down here. And we'll see how the Hawks do today, Joshua. Like I said, I think that game is a coin toss. I could see that being any score, the way those two teams play. The sort of, the history of Perez when he played poorly back in the Renegades and then he played great in the postseason could very well happen again this year. The Kings, the way they've been playing, it's going to be great. Yeah, I heard the CFL games are good as well, Marvin. I did hear they were pretty solid. Ball snapped. They hand off to Deion Jackson, and it's going to be a touchdown, DC. First and goal, touchdown, 6-0. DC has the lead over Orlando after the refs, again, botched it somewhat. Sup, Sector? Sup? All right, I was about to say sup, Gary. Gary, sup, see you again. Make sure you go like Joshua's dono post. I want DC. DC against Hawks would be a great game. That would be a really cool matchup. I think pretty much every matchup has a big storyline. Even St. Louis versus Orlando, it's the rematch of the Beck, it's the Beck Bowl again. So that's another big one. If it's the Kings versus the Storm, it's the battle of two expansion teams. If it's the Kings versus the Defenders, it's, the Jason Bean battle. A couple big ones. Sup Exalted, hating on the Storm. Gotta love it. Kick is up, and it is good. 7-0. DC holds the lead over the Orlando Storm. Yeah, I think I'm probably going to wait till after the second game for dinner, which is going to be rough, but it is what it is. Well, bored of sports unless you just don't like soccer. Yeah, we got the World Cup literally starting like 2 days before the championship game, which is crazy. So I got the World Cup. We still got the finals going on this upcoming week. You get regular season baseball, so there's that too. Golf still's got 3 majors going on, like the Memorial's going on right now. So you got a lot of great stuff going on. Get to watch the U.S. men's national team get bounced in the round of 16 again. Around of 32. I don't remember. Did they expand the knockout stage or just the group stage? I know they did something weird when they added like 12 more teams, because why not? Let's just add 12 more teams for the sake of adding 12 more teams. And even then, it was 16 teams. Yeah, it was like 32-48. And even then, Italy still couldn't make it. Oh, it's terrible. Now with the UFL, you got this. Yeah, that's right. And you got indoor football still going on at the same time. You got so much football, man. That game is going to be so good. That game should be a great one. All right, let's see what happens here on the kickoff. Kickoff is up. Going to be recovered initially at the 5-yard line, up to the 10. Gets to the 20. Cuts to the right side, the 25, the 30, the 35. Gets to the 40. The 40, about 45-yard line out of bounds. Hawks going to choke with how Ricky reviews the win. I wouldn't be shocked. I would not be shocked if that's how they lose. We have seen what he has done in terms of not knowing that, hey, you can stop the clock on a first down, so never say never with that guy. Between half-power team and then, oh my gosh. 1st and 10. Ball is snapped for Jack Plummer. Throws to the left side of the field. Caught at the 50. Gets to the first down marker. Should be a first down right there for Chris Rowland. Hey, I said Chris Rowland should not have been the all-UFL guy, so we'll see if he ends up having a good one. We'll see what he ends up doing. Penalty on the defense and added 10 yards right there. Not looking good for them right there. Oh, let's see some SDCs. The pick. Oh, it'd be hard. Back quarterback. Mike Rapoli tweeting about this. The game's going on. Mike Rapoli's horse once again didn't win. But the horse that skipped out on the Preakness won the Belmont, or vice versa, you know what I mean? Which, again, load managing and horse racing, baby. We love it. 1st and 10 for the Orlando Storm. After the penalty, they are up to about the 30.5-yard line in DC territory. Ball is snapped. They fake the handoff. Throws to the right side. Deep. It is a bit too far for Roland. Incomplete, 2nd and 10. You think about the commercial where the U.S. wins the World Cup? The two fans had to disagree about it until the original play of the Miracle and I spoke. Man, Marvin, I've seen that commercial. I hate that commercial. I've said it before. There are some people in America. Let me phrase that. There's a lot of people in America that see that commercial and genuinely think that's a real possibility. Dude, if our team even makes it to the final 8, that would be historic. Like, our team is not that good. I just, that commercial, man, it's something else. Ball snap, they hand it off, cuts to the left side of the field. A great play by DC's defense. They were able to stop him before getting in the line of scrimmage. They might give him forward progress back to where he was tackled, but it's 3rd and 10 once again for the Orlando Storm. Yeah, good old Colin Thompson got the job after their original OC left for the Vikings, right? 3rd and 10 in shotgun. 3 receivers at the top of your screen, 1 at the bottom of your screen. Running back is to Plummer's right. Ball is snapped. Throws the check down. Great tackling by DC. Was able to stop him from breaking it. Going to be 4th and 8. They're going to force the field goal here. Great play by DC's defense right there. Yeah, the announcer's literally saying that right after it. If they didn't make that tackle, it would have been huge. Stopping the Storm. Hey, Storm, man. We'll see. The Blake Williams defense. So it looks like this field goal is going to be good for the Orlando Storm. Makes it 7-3 DC over the Orlando Storm. And it was a close kick. It literally bounced off the upright but made it in. So super sketchy field goal from Lance, but he did make it. So 4-point lead for DC after both their first drives. DC is down to 2 timeouts. Orlando still has all 3. Both teams have not used their super challenge. That is the game so far. Sketchy kick. This is true. I mean, the coaching is definitely a big deal because it's the battle of the 2 experienced head coaches and the 2 inexperienced ones. Because, again, Ricky has a lot of experience as an assistant, but not as a head coach. So you got those 2 battles as well. Definitely a big one, too. Beat DC the 3rd time in advance. I would hope it's a big crowd. Yeah, it's something weird about Orlando. I think it's like I said at the beginning of stream, it's their ground game. I think that's the biggest issue that A-Dog is just the ground game. Like, when you don't have a good ground game, because they don't even have a mediocre ground game. Their ground game is awful. You're forced to purely rely on Jack Plummer. That's why I said I thought he was the clear-cut MVP. Said it before. He is the weakest MVP winner in this era of spring football history, but he was the most obvious MVP winner in this era of spring football history. Because he basically has to do it. Like, if he makes a mistake, they're going to lose. Like, he's got to be perfect. So, but he is the valuable player to this team because their ground game just does nothing. So if they're not able to run, it's like what just happened. Ready, threw a pass to Roland. If Roland breaks that tackle, they get the first down. They might score the touchdown. But because he didn't break tackle, they're kind of cooked. Because if they do run the ball, they're going to lose yardage most likely. But yeah. It was a good commercial. They went too far. Yeah, this Latin cutting, getting his hair cut was something else. Man, that commercial is something else. About beating Brazil. Like, dude, even Brazil making the final isn't like there's a good chance, but like they're not even the like top 4 favorites, I believe. What, it's like Spain, France, they might be like 3rd or 4th, but I think Spain and France are the 2 favorites. Yeah, kick server literally answered it before I even saw, but yeah. Like, Cavante Turpin had a better year. Chris Odom had a better year in 2022. The XFL didn't have an MVP. Alex Magoo was better. Adrian Martinez, I think, was better. Even though Perkins, certain counting stats aren't there when you consider how many games he played, he was just insane in what he was able to play. That's what I would say. Only issue with this place Exalted I'm seeing is I'm not seeing as much shade stuff for compared to Inter and Co. That's the only thing that could definitely hurt is the shade thing. But hey, it's still better than Camping World, dude. Camping World, oh my god. We're once 5-1 with undisputed best team. Hey, Bradley Moore went down. Tiamu went down. Yasir Durant went down. Had a lot of injuries come out, man. Just tanked that team. But they got a chance. I mean, some of those guys are back. Playing a team 3 straight weeks in a row helps. The knowledge that you could host the title game, I think, helps a lot. Right? I think that could help them a lot because you got to remember, like the last couple of years, they weren't even able to host a game, right? Like last year, they weren't even allowed to host the home playoff game because of the issues with scheduling. So the knowledge that you could host a championship game, I think that's also going to help them out a lot more than it has, let's say, St. Louis the past 2 years. But yeah. No, it was originally moved at historic Crew Stadium, and then it was moved to Daytona, which is where it's being played now. Showing Jason Means' huge rush from last week, that like 47-yard rush that he had last week. He needs to keep throwing the ball like this. I mean, he's already looking a lot better through the air than he was last week. Last week was really rough passing. He was great on the ground aside from the early slide, but passing, he was terrible. But this is looking like the end because the end of the game last week, he was looking pretty good through the air. But we'll see. Like I said, for DC, man, DC, Orlando can't get to a huge lead. They just don't have the running game for it. DC's ground game is good enough to be able to get a big lead. So even though it's super early, this would be a really big touchdown to make it an 11-point game, force Orlando to score again. But we'll see. Oh, I just heard like a sound, there's a bottle falling out. Okay. Return is up to the 20-yard line for DC. The 25 cuts to the middle of the field, gets to the 35, down at about 35. Ooh, that's not good. Okay, we're back. I don't know what just happened. My internet just went kaput. I guess the empty Diet Dr. Pepper bottle that fell down did a lot of damage to my Wi-Fi cord that wasn't even near it. But yeah, we'll see. Okay, well we should be good. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I would hope the championship game, that'd be really cool if they announce it during the championship game, like right before after 50 Cent comes out. That would be a great time to announce it. I think that would be a huge one to announce it right there. 1st and 10 for the DC Defenders. In shotgun. Ball is snapped. Throws to the left side of the field. Caught. Ooh, incomplete. It was in his hands. Wasn't able to bring it down. Going to be 2nd and 10 for the DC Defenders. Raleigh, oh no, Adam, not the Hurricanes, man. That hurt yesterday. We made this big comeback just to lose to an own goal. Yeah, it definitely looks good that we have the crowd stand for the playoffs. It's great. That's what happened with the championship last year was rough, but this is definitely looking pretty good. Oh, I mean, if he's able to win for the championship for St. Louis, that easily makes him the spring king. Because at the end of the day, right, there's no quarterback that's actually started 2 championship games and won them. They're going to rush for about 2 yards in the play to the left side, going to be 3rd and 8. Because, like, you know, I guess technically Magoo did in a way, but he came in the second half on the Jamar Smith team. But he's the closest to winning 2 titles as the guy. But even then, it wasn't the same degree. But if Prez able to do it, like, I mean, dude played in the AF, played in the XFL, the Spring League, the XFL again, the UFL, won a championship in 2 different leagues. I mean, that's pretty crazy. You know, it was Trent Richardson's teammate, bro, the legendary Trent Richardson. Come on. In shotgun for the DC Defenders, 2 receivers at the bottom of your screen, one at the far top of your screen, one at the semi-top of your screen. Ball is snapped, rolls to the right. Gets the 1st down to 50, out of bounds. Are you on your phone, Adam? Because I have heard something about the emojis being awkward on a phone. Like, I think I remember hearing something about that. Because I see them on, like, my end. But I know I saw, like, a Reddit post earlier today where, like, the emojis weren't there on, like, an update or something. I don't know that for sure, but I know G-Man came in and was able to use them at least. It might be because of that. I don't know for sure, but it might be there's something wrong with the phone. Like, might have to update YouTube or something. Throws to the right. Looks like he got hit as he was throwing. Ends up being a bit off to the right. Incomplete. 2nd and 10 for the DC Defenders after the 1st down rush. Okay, so I guess it's a phone issue then. Good old YouTube, man. Yeah. It might just be a specific one. No. They're talking about like they're trying to type them in like in their emoji thing. Because if you remember and you go to emoji section, you have an extra tab saying Zomb Phox UFL emojis. In shotgun, ball is thrown deep to the left side of the field. Oh, he almost caught that. Would have been huge, but it was incomplete. But yeah, like they can't like they can see them in chat, they just can't type them in on there. Which I saw earlier this morning. I saw somebody on a Reddit post say something. So it might be it's either like an Apple issue or it's just a general YouTube phone issue where you can't see can't type them in. Third and 10 for the DC defenders now. In shotgun. Ball is snapped. Throws it to the left side of the field. Oh, great pass. Caught at the 30-yard line. Kiki Kuti with a huge play. It's a first down right there. Can't see any emojis. Oh, YouTube, what are you doing, man? YouTube, bro. Taking L after L, bro. What a great player. That was a great throw by Bean. Beautiful catch right there. I mean, like I said, even though it is early with the lack of a ground game, like Orlando's passing game, they can get back in this game passing-wise, but they can't get a big lead. If DC is able to get a big lead, that would be big. Because we really haven't seen that happen to Orlando. Closest was the St. Louis game, but even then, it wasn't like that huge a lead, but yeah. Rush to the left side of the field by Abram Smith. Gets to the first down. The 15. The 10. Cuts to the right. The 5. Oh, down to the 3-yard line. Incredible rusher there by Abram Smith. That's your former XFL leading rusher right there. Abram Smith with a huge rush right there on first down, getting him to the 3-yard line. This could be bad for Orlando. It is early in the game, but this is a decently long drive. We're going to be down to about 2.5 minutes when the next play gets snapped. 2.5 minutes left. They might be able to score a touchdown with about 2 minutes left. Overall, great drive right here by DC. 13 seconds left on the play clock. Oh, don't tell me. Oh, I see what I see. They're about to call a timeout. Again, you better score a touchdown here. That's another timeout you really shouldn't have had to call there. That's a rough one to call. You're down to 1 timeout left. You're not even in the second quarter yet. Hate that, but, you know, what are you going to do? Let's see. What is being posted right there? Am I seeing anything else? Okay. The DCO line is controlling line of scrimmage, which I don't think many people expected that to happen, honestly. I don't think many people thought that was going to happen with how they've been this year, but they're getting the job done. Man, why is Edge trying to be a nuisance? Come on, man. Something about there's a couple things that haven't been working right with technology. Technology the last like week especially just feels like it's been really rough, all things considered. Like, what are we doing, man? Okay, well, hope everything's good. I can't see chat. There we go. There we go, man. Good old technology, dude. Technology is terrible. Never works. Never works like it's supposed to. Okay, YouTube emoji issue. Oh, apparently this has actually been going on for a while with the emojis. I saw that post a day ago, so this has been going on for a little bit. Wow, that's hilarious. It looks like it's an iPhone issue, yeah. So it's an iOS issue for those of you that are on iOS and you can't see any emojis, like when you're typing in, that's what the issue is. Oh, I deleted the wrong tab. It's almost bad. Almost bad. Okay, there we go. Yeah, 6-hour stream, technology. Yeah, it's just the browser I use has had this issue a little bit, but yeah. Had a couple of issues that I had this happen a couple days ago. It's just technology, dude. Technology is awful. Never works like you're supposed to. But it looks like okay. That happened this week, probably, yeah. Because from what I'm seeing, it's apparently been going on for about 3 days on iOS where the issues have been going on. So good old iPhone, baby. Good old iOS. Not good. Because, like, I know that there was another, like, I know Gmail's been having some bad updates recently where they're doing the classic issues with, like, non-Gmail Gmail accounts and all that. The more we advance in technology, the more things get worse. I swear, bro. Without the emoji before. Yeah, the emojis just look so much better. You get to just put the team emoji in there, and then you get to see it's like, ooh. I know what you mean, the fanciness of it. Good old iOS. Yeah, baby. Let's see what happens for DC. Apparently, we got a touchdown. I wish I could see this early, but for some reason, ABC stopped working, which I thought it usually did, but hey, you know what? Fox works. It's all good. In shotgun, ball is snapped. They hand it off, and they're going to rush to the right, and Amber Smith cuts to the right again. Beautiful touchdown. Touchdown, DC. They are going to be up 13-3 after that touchdown right there. The old-fashioned way. Yeah, I know, like, technology, man. Like, oh, wait, like, again, I never updated certain things I downloaded. I always just viewed if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So, like, OBS, my editing software, and then now that I've updated OBS, like, I can't move my screen the way I want to, and instead of, dealing with it, I'm just gonna keep it the way it is. So, like, so let's see if they make this extra point, make it a 14-3 game. Looks like they will make the extra point, making it 14-3. Again, we only got about 2.5 minutes left in the first quarter. And yeah, great for DC. Now, it is important to know that DC did get the ball first, so Orlando does have that, extra drive in their pocket for the second half. So this isn't like a must-score drive. Obviously, you want to. DC has scored touchdowns in both their drives. You don't want to be stuck in, not scoring touchdowns as they are, but it's still early. It's not like you need to score here, but this is still early and it's big in the game, but yeah. Might pull reverse sweep. Good old Becht in the playoffs, man. Again, we'll see. It's only been one drive, but the ground game. It's what the entire reason I picked DC to win this game. Well, technically two. The third game, I just can't see him winning 3 in a row. But the main reason is the ground game or lack thereof a ground game for Orlando. Orlando just doesn't have a ground game. Like whenever I do my top 5 or top 10 running backs, Jashawn Corbin's not being on that list. Like he may be up there in counting stats, but like, dude, you can average 1 yard a carry and still be the league's leading rusher if you have 2,000 carries. You know what I mean? And that's borderline what Jashawn Corbin has done this year. So, like, this ground game is just not good for Orlando. I mean, that's why I picked the Kings to win as well. They have the better ground game than St. Louis. So, balance play this game. This out usually starts. It looks at the demise. Yeah, like last year, it was looking bad. Then you had the good second quarter with Silvers. Silvers went down, and then Max Duggan came back in, and it was all over. Return is up to about the 38-yard line for the Orlando Storm right there. Well, this is the big. I mean, this will see how their offense goes. What they need to do is they actually need to have a good ground game. Like, it's not. I doubt it's going to happen. But if they're able to get Corbin actually playing well, like week 1, which even week 1 Corbin was not an incredible running back, but that was a serviceable one. If you can get that level of production, that's going to help you out a lot. On offense, true. 1st and 10 at the 37-yard line in Orlando territory. 3 receivers at the top of your screen, 1 at the bottom. Fakes the snap. Ball is snapped. Hands it off. Corbin cuts inside, gets a 4-yard rush. If he can keep doing that, that's what they need. Because usually he doesn't. Now, the other issue is he also doesn't break off the big rushes either. Like, his 3 yards a carry are, like, a legitimate 3.3 yards a carry. So he's not even getting you, like, a huge run, at least. He's just rough. Sup, Clyde? Yeah, I got the first of the 2 back-to-back games doing the streams for the Daytona Storm. Hey. I mean, hey, it's not like they're based in a home market, technically, so they are technically the Daytona Storm. 2nd and 6. Ball is snapped. Plummer throws it over the middle. It is going to be caught. They're going to say hit the ground. So incomplete. 3rd and 6 for the Orlando Storm after the incomplete pass to Cooper. Or Camper. Yeah, it was a bit questionable. I couldn't see the specific angle there, but looks like it hit the ground, so. Yeah, he should have caught that, didn't. Dropped it, incomplete. Now let's see what happens in the next play. 3rd and 6 for the Orlando Storm. The Noble logos. It's shotgun, 1 running back, or 1 player to his left, 1 to his right. Ball is snapped. Plummer rolls up in the pocket. Throws to the right side. Oh my god, it's completely wide open. Caught at the 20. Great tackle at the 15, but yeah, that was definitely a blown aside. There's literally nobody within like 5 yards of him. That was a terrible play right there by the DC defense. Hamler gets the incredible play downfield. About a 40-yard pass right there for the Orlando Storm. Like I said, they ain't going to win the game running the ball, but they've got a damn good quarterback. That's a great play right there. There's nobody back there covering him. Again, good open field tackle. He could have easily missed that tackle, whiffed it, would have been a touchdown. But either way, still a huge play for the Orlando Storm right there. 30 seconds left. This is probably the last play of the first quarter. In shotgun. Ball is snapped. Fakes the handoff. Quick throws over the middle, and it's incomplete. Kind of threw it into the dirt. This is more of a Storm home game. This is like Fort Hood, right? It's a home game. I'd say it's a home game, right? I wouldn't do home game. I do home game, like waving the arm like it's a home game, because like it looks like it's Orlando fans there. So I think this is more of a Orlando home game, but it's not like it's a true home game. But yeah. But that's the end of the first quarter. It's 14-3 DC over the Orlando Storm. Again, it looks like we will be going 4 for 4 in terms of drives having points scored. We'll see if they actually score a touchdown or not. But that's what it's looking like right now. Looking at some random stuff here. Yeah, great looking crowd for sure. Scroll down there. Let's see what's going on. Okay. KJ Hamler. Let's see what's trending. Who knows? Maybe Xbox is trending. What did Xbox do today? Oh, no. Oh, Xbox Showcase. Gears of War EA. Yeah, I'm going to wait till I see it. Because I eventually got back into Gears of War 5 again, but, I need the actual thing to come out. Okay. And let's go back up there, okay. Oh, and I misclicked something. Dude, I keep misclicking everything. I'm not in my game. I mean, yeah, technically, but I would say it's. I mean, you get at least the home court. Like, I get what you're saying, but I would still call it more of a home field advantage game than not. It's completely different than going to like Historic Crew. Like that would have been a true neutral site game for sure. But at least that's what I would say. Like that's how I view it at least. Okay, camera, we're having a laugh. And we're having a joke. Okay. Okay, there we go. Get that going. Still having a laugh, camera. Okay, so we're gonna do this method. Always works. All right, I'm back. Ooh, Adam, nice to see you here, man. A big thank you for the $2 dono, Adam. Make sure you like that post. Honestly, you're missing some good offense. Like, Jason Bean has been really good for the defenders today. Like, he's been making most of his passes he's been making, and he's made some good throws. There was just a huge play to KJ Hamler that Jack Clark made. The DC defense completely blew the coverage, and it was a huge play. But it's been a great game so far. I mean, we've had scoring drives in theory in all four. Orlando's on the fourth drive. They're at like the 12 or the 15-yard line, so they should, in theory, score here. So it's been a really good game so far, Adam, for sure. Like, I mean, I thought this was going to be like a lower scoring game, but it's looking like it might be a bit of a high scoring game today. Again, the Kings Aviators game had like 49 points or whatever scored in the first half, and the second half had like 15 points scored or whatever it was. But this is looking like a great game so far. Man, Beck, I did not remember hearing that. I don't like that. Saying that because he's MVP should get special treatment. That's some weak coaching right there, saying that because he's the MVP he should get different treatment. Like, okay, but that's something you don't say. That's saying the quiet part out loud. Yeah. 2nd and 10 for the Orlando Storm here. Yeah, DC is down to one timeout. Orlando is all three. We're in the second quarter now. 2nd and 10 for the DC defense or for the Orlando Storm. And they're at about the 13, 14-yard line. In shock, and they are wearing their alternate jerseys, the orange. I don't think anyone's really mentioned that yet. This is technically their alternate jersey, and they're wearing it. Pretty much wear it whenever it's going to be sunny and hot out. Ball is snapped. Quick throw to the left. Ooh, that's a bad throw. That was a weak throw. Are they really calling that a fumble? That's incomplete. Yeah. That was a bit bad by both of them. That was a bad play of both. Corbin really should have ran up. I mean, the ball was such a mallet of a throw. He had more than enough time to go upfield to make a play on it. At the same token, Plummer should not have missed a throw that was that close. That was a bad play by both of them. Incomplete. 3rd and 10 for the Orlando Storm. It's going to be about 14 and a half minutes left. Showing Derek Robinson, who is an MVP finalist. Like, I guess. They got 2 for DC. Sure, buddy. Like, I guess. In shotgun for the Orlando Storm. They got like 4 guys on the left side of their screen. Ball snapped. Plummer throws it deep to the right side. Incomplete. And it's going to force another field goal. So DC is able to get away with another really good red zone stop, forcing a field. Well, technically not red zone stop because the last one wasn't, but going to be able to force the field goal here to, in theory, make this a 14-6 game. And now this is where DC really would love to get another touchdown. Getting another touchdown here would actually be huge for the team, but we'll see if they can get it. Michael Lance. 32-yard field goal. They calling a timeout here? Wow, he's throwing a challenge flag this early in the game? Wow, he's going to try to challenge for DPI on Elijah Badger right there. And he did technically have his own kicker there. That is sort of his own kicker because he waited so long to do that, but not to the same degree Kevin Sumlin did where he literally called it right before he kicked it. But this is Orlando's one challenge. Remember, even if it's successful, you only get one challenge. So this is the one challenge for the Orlando Storm. Illegal contact is what he's challenging for officially. Let's see this angle. I don't think it's going to show anything. Let's see. I don't think he's going to get this. I think this is a bad challenge. Yeah, that's not a good challenge right there. CJ Johnson level challenge. Yeah, that was a bad one. So Beck loses his challenge for the game, and he's going to be cost a timeout as well, and he's still going to end up kicking the field goal. Yeah, looking good for Anthony Beck right there. Yeah, that was a bad challenge. I didn't think it was anything egregious. Even if, I mean, that was a borderline and casual ball. Even if he wasn't there, he wouldn't have gotten to that ball anyway. I know you can't make the assumption in certain instances, but that one you probably could. But field goal looks to be good to make this a 14-6 game, so it is still a one-score game. And that kick was a lot better than the last one. Now, with DC, yes, a field goal. Obviously, if you keep scoring, it's huge. If you're DC and you score a field goal every drive, you're going to win this game. But a touchdown here, you can put some real damage. If you can get a touchdown here, make it 21-6, that's where you really make this scary. Dude, why are you showing this? Why are you showing this, ESPN, ABC? I do not want to see Jordan Martinook shooting the puck into his own goalie's leg to score an own goal to cost us the game in overtime. I do not want to see that. Like, God, that hurt. That sucked. That sucked yesterday. We made this great comeback. Despite Sean Walker playing a puck, he had no real reason to play, and he scored on his own goalie. Finally pulled Freddie, and it immediately worked out, and then we lose an OT, double OT, because of an own goal, which is like... I mean, I've just got this on because they're the champions last year. I'm debating if I'm going to put the Stallions one from the year prior for the next game. I might just keep this one up because we're doing, like, you know, back-to-back like that. So I don't know for sure what we're going to do with that exactly. But, yeah. I mean, if you just have, again, I don't know if you're, you know, in Canada or out of the country, but if you're in America, I mean, you just have to have ABC and you can get this. like, you know, regular ABC. Granted, if you're not in America, then the UFL made sure you ain't gonna watch. I don't know why the UFL doesn't want anyone else to watch this game, but yeah. Yeah, I agree, Exalted. That was definitely a bad. I mean, number one, this was a bad challenge in general. And even then, even if you get that challenge, you're not getting a touchdown. You're getting an automatic first down. Like, you might have got stopped again. Return is up to the 30. Down at about the 33-yard line. There is a flag here. Usually these are going to be on the returning team, so this is probably going to be at about the 20-yard line to start. We'll see. 110 to win the championship is crazy odds. So we're lying. They were not the last team to make the playoffs. Like, they may have been the last seed, but they made the playoffs before the Kings did. So we're just straight up lying. Okay. That's okay. Hilarious that they're just straight up lying right there. But whatever. Gotta love it, man. Yeah, overcoach. Anthony Beck, bro, that's all he does is overcoach in the playoffs every year. 1st and 10. Ball snap. They fake the handoff. Bean rolls to the right. He's going to run it. Gets 5. Goes out of bounds for about a 6-yard gain. Overall solid first down play right there for the DC Defenders. Gotta love the UFL, man. ESPN broadcast, straight up lying. That's hilarious. DC. Today, 10.5. That's crazy. Don't worry, Nasty. I think we're safe. I know what you mean. I think we're safe today. Pass thrown to the right. Ooh, falls down. He is catching it. Not a huge fan of the play call. Even if he did catch it, he still would have been tackled. But 3rd down for the defenders. They're going to lose about half a yard there. 13 minutes. 3rd and 6 for the DC Defenders. I promise I won't mention it. It was supposed to be sliding early. He just went, hey, maybe he's learning. Ball is snapped. He rushed up the middle. And he is learning. 1st down, Jason Bean on the rush. About an 8-yard gain. He learned. He didn't pull a Chase Garbers and, you know, slid in the championship game. Yeah, I don't... Look, I didn't want to say anything, but I noticed that too. The clock, like, it... I don't get it, man. Like, they've done similar things like this earlier in the year where they just botched the thingy, but, like, the clock is definitely hilarious. Pass thrown on the right side of the field. It's a screen pass. Gets about 3.5 yards on the play for the DC Defenders. But yeah, the play clock is... That looks bad. Granted, ESPN's clock normally doesn't look that good, but yeah. He thinks he's so bad. Yeah, I mean, good on Anthony Beck, man. Can't win a playoff game, man. Again, we'll see. Surely him or the Battlehawks have to win one. Again, granted, I took the other teams in both games, but, like, surely one of them has to win. Oh, crap. I forgot to post my game picks. Passes thrown, caught to the left side of the field. 1st down for the DC Defenders. Okay, post. There we go. Forgot to post that. Taking 11 weeks to learn to slide is wild. Yeah, you're not wrong there. That's for sure. You're not wrong there. Ball is snapped. Hands it off. Cuts to the left side of the field. Great play by Orlando's defense. They're going to actually lose about 3 yards on the play right there. Jason Taylor. Not that Jason Taylor, but, you know, a Jason Taylor. Okay. Playoff game picks. There we go. Excuse me. Gun down, Perez just executing Kinlan Bean, I think, through scrambling. Ball, there we go. Okay, there we go. Pass is thrown to the right side of the field. It is tipped. That would have been a huge play if he would have caught that. It's going to be 3rd and 12 for the defenders, though. I mean, I think that if the Battlehawks make it to the championship game, I think it's going to be off the backs of Perez. Like, I think it's the only way they make it is if Perez reverts to 2023 postseason form, which if he does, they're winning the championship. Like, to me, I think whoever wins the Kings Battlehawks game is winning the championship. Like, I know somebody else commented, and I agreed with them. Whoever wins that game, I think wins the championship. I just think that the way either team were to win it, I think they win the championship. Pass throw to the right. He got hit as he throws. It is going to be incomplete. Could have been intercepted, but ends up being incomplete of a Mallard throw because he got hit as he threw it. So Orlando's able to make a stop, and they didn't cross the 50-yard line. Well, they did get 2 yards. We'll see exactly where they called them. If they called them right behind the 50, because I know there's been some weird things where it depends exactly where they spotted them. They might be forced to punt here, or might be forced to go for it here, but I think they can punt this. Yeah, so they are able to punt here. Well, yeah, because at the 40-yard line, my bad. Punt is up. It is going to be all the way to the... Wow, that's a horrid punt. Oh, my God. They're going to call it down the 43-yard line? Wow, that's like a 15-yard punt. Oh, my God, that's putrid. So Orlando's getting excellent field position after the terrible punt right there. I mean, it was a bad punt by itself, and it had an even worse bounce. So just terrible right there. The opposite Jackson Dart. Oh, my God. Jackson Dart, baby. Great punt if you're Orlando. True. That was bad. That was a rough punt to watch. That was bad. That was a bad punt. That was bad. Oh, my God. I mean, even if it was down where it hit like the 30. So that was a terrible punt in itself. And then, like, oh, my God. Even if it bounced the other way, it would have only bounced for like 12 yards. That still wouldn't have been a good punt. It would have been better to get a touchback. It's terrible. Well, let's see. While we're in this commercial break, let us see what... Okay, JT Poston is +1. Sam Burns is up there. Rose is not going to get all the way there. Scotty is going to just finish top 20 maybe. Hmm. Hmm. 62 total rushing yards. And only like 1.5 quarter. That ain't that bad. It's pretty good. Shaq, what the pass? Talk about some good modern America stuff. Shaq with his bloomers. 6 new posts. Let's see. Trending. Who knows? Maybe we get lucky. It ain't looking like we're getting lucky. Oh, okay. Mormons is still trending. That's crazy. Orlando only just 3 total rushing yards. Yeah, why am I not shocked? Orlando with a terrible rushing stat line? Whoa, I'm shocked. I never would have seen that coming. The Orlando Storm rushing attack. Oh man, this is a bad unit. That's an all-time worst unit. Again, they can change everything today and next week if they were to win today and play next week. But at the moment, when you're talking about one of the all-time worst units in spring football history, you're talking about that Orlando Storm rushing attack. Like, even in a year where the ground game is just already not good this year, which, let's call it like it is, the ground game across the year has been bad. Like, running backs and tight ends have been the weakest they've probably ever been in spring football, like, just in general. Especially tight end, man. Tight end was rough this year. Like, you had a couple guys make some big plays here and there, but, like, you didn't have anyone that was, like, a true receiving leader, like a Sternberger, Surratt, or, you know, a Sal Cannella, but... Yeah, 8-2, baby, for the Storm. Best record in the league by a wide margin. I mean, they were 2 games clear of the Kings and the Battlehawks. Road to the United Bowl. Next Saturday on ABC, 3 o'clock. The winners, I got the 4 and the 3 seed making it. It's in DC, baby. Under center for the Orlando Storm here on their first play. Calling an audible, looks like motioning a tight end, Stellanos, I believe that is, going from the far bottom of your screen to the middle bottom of your screen. Ball is snapped. They hand it off, and they get 1 yard. Oh, no. Orlando, say it ain't so. 2nd and 9 for the Orlando Storm. That's hilarious story out, Mince. Coming out of retirement and then using PTO, that is a hilarious storyline. It's dedication, but it's funny. They hand it off to the left side of the field. Gets the first down and then some. Wow, a good rush by Orlando. That's crazy. About a 13-yard rush for Orlando Storm. You do not see that every day. Like, that is something you do not see whatsoever. That's crazy. But, hey, better late than never for their ground game to show up. Sup, WV here. Yeah, the DC defenders, they got the lead again. They got to get a stop here. Orlando could tie it this drive. Plummer looks to the middle of the field, throws it. It is going to be caught. Great catch right there in the middle of the field by KJ Hamler. He's having a great day today. Right now, he's the team MVP for the Orlando Storm. He's had a great day. I mean, he had like 3 guys around him. Great play. They showed his first Friday game. They got to host it against the same team. I fully agree, Marvin. I think that should be like every year, unless expansion. Like if they do like the 2 expansion teams of the home game, that's different. But like for next year, it should be whoever wins against whoever lost. That would be a cool way to start. First attempt for the Orlando Storm after the great play by KJ Hamler. Ball is snapped. Fakes the handoff. Plummer's going to run it, and he slides for about a 2.5, 3-yard gain. I understand it's early, so I understand why you would kick the PAT. Like, I always like trying to get the tie, but I would get kicking it. I would go for 2. But I would understand kicking it. Like, it's okay either way. I just think sending that message, hey, it's a tie game now, is a big deal. But again, I fully understand if you were to kick the PAT. Ball is snapped. Throws it to the left side of the field. Caught about the 10-yard line by Elijah Badger, who goes out of bounds at about the 6-yard line. That's a huge play right there, about 20 yards for the Orlando Storm. Great play by Badger, who, as I said, arguably should have been on the all-UFL team. They gave it to Chris Rowland. I think Badger should have gotten it over him. Macon should have gotten over him. Winstead should have gotten over him. Cornell Powell arguably should have gotten over him. But great play there by Badger. Oh, the February 12th. Oh, no. I'm vehemently against that. That's way too early, man. Even like March 1st is too early. I do not like starting the season after the Super Bowl. I don't think it's going to do as much good as a lot of people think. They hand the ball off inside, and it's going to be about a 3-yard gain for the Orlando Storm. Just like seeing it. Oh my gosh. Let's see what happens after this. They got 3-yard rush in their first play. Second and goal now for the for the Orlando Storm. 6 minutes left in the half. Remember, Orlando gets the ball at half. That's important to remember. Orlando gets the ball at half. Jose's calling an audible. Got 3 receivers in the bunch right at the bottom of your screen. Badger up top by himself. Ball snapped. Plummer throws it to Badger. Incomplete. That is going to be either defensive holding or pass interference. That looked pretty clear. Going to be a flag on the defense. And it's going to be a first down right there, automatic for the Orlando Storm. There's 2 games on Wednesday night, multi-Friday games. Is it only 2 on Wednesday? I thought it was 3, but yeah, they've got like the home open, or the first game release on Wednesday, and the Thanksgiving Eve game. Like, dude, we have a Thanksgiving Eve, 3 games Thanksgiving, and a Black Friday game. Like, what are we doing, bro? Are we gonna have a Cyber Monday game? Well, I think we already do technically, but we're gonna have like some random Tuesday game. Like, bro, what are we doing? First and goal for the Orlando Storm. Ball is snapped. They hand it off. Great stop by DC right there. They're able to hold him right there. It's going to be down for a 0-yard gain. Second and goal for the Orlando Storm now. This could be a huge stop by the Storm if they're able to pull this off. I mean, by the DC defenders, if they were to somehow get this. Second and goal. Under center again. Ball is snapped. They hand it off. They stop him again. And it's a fumble. They're saying, wait, is this going to be a fumble? If it's a fumble, it's DC's ball. If it's not, it's Orlando's ball still. Let's see. Is this going to be a fumble? That's a fumble. Now, granted, it depends on when they stopped forward progress, but that is a clear fumble. It just depends when they stopped forward progress and blew the whistle. Are they reviewing this? Wow, they're not. Yeah, gotta love ABC not working for me. Gotta love it. It doesn't matter what antenna I use, doesn't matter where I put it. Between like the big three of CBS, well technically big four of NBC, CBS, Fox, and ABC, I only get like 2 or 3 of them. I can never get all 4. I can get like 2 or 3 of them, and then great, but that's it. Shannon's trying to plead his case. Again, if you're saying as soon as it, I mean, the ball came out when he was being pushed back. So, like, I fully agree. Like, I fully understand if you're going to call it forward progress. I get that. Like, if you're going to blow it dead, because that was clearly, like, he was being pushed back. You got to be consistent with it, but for that specific play, I do get it. I think the right call is to keep Orlando's ball. When they blew the whistle, I thought it was when he was being pushed back. Forward progress is supposed to be as soon as you're being fully pushed back. I think that was the correct call. Third and goal for the Orlando Storm. They're going to be in shotgun this time. They got 3 receivers on the right side of your screen and 2 at the left. Ball is snapped. They fake the handoff. Plummer's getting pressure. He throws this. That would have been a touchdown. That's a bad throw right there. Incomplete. Orlando might get stopped here, guys. They're at the 1-yard line. They had 3 straight plays at the 1-yard line. They have not gained a single yard. 4th and goal now at the 1-yard line. This could be a huge goal line stand. It would be so UFL if they get the stand. They get a safety, though. That would have been a touchdown. May even stop the 1-yard line again, but incomplete pass right there. 4th and goal. Let's see if we can get this one. They've got 4 receivers at the top of your screen. 4. Wow, that was generous. They let him get that timeout because that should have been a flag, but they're going to call their timeout right there. That's their second timeout. 3.5 minutes left in the half. Orlando's calling a timeout there. Hey, I'm probably gonna treat it like, well, technically not the same because St. Louis I technically stayed over there, but I'm probably like, if I do another stream, I might do something when I'm in Orlando. I don't know. Part of me wants to try and do like a phone stream there for like a little bit before going into the game. I don't know. That we'll see. We'll see how next week goes, but we'll see. 4th and goal for Orlando. Lee trying to figure this out. No, in that specific instance, I think that's the right call. I mean, if you look at the replay, it was pretty clear that forward progress would have been blown dead when he did fumble. Like, he clearly fumbled, but it was after he'd already been pushed back like a full yard. So in that specific instance, I do think that was the right call. 4th and goal for the Orlando Storm. Based on what I'm seeing in the comments, yikes. In shotgun, 3 receivers at the top of your screen, 1 at the bottom. Ball is snapped. Plummer is pressured. He gets hit. He gets taken down. They're not even going to be in bad field position. DC gets the sack. They stop him. They were at 1st and goal from the 1-yard line. They gained 0 yards. I don't even think they gained an inch. And they end up letting DC get the ball. Oh, it's terrible. DC is not even going to be in range of getting a safety. That is huge for the defenders. That is terrible for the Orlando Storm. That is terrible for the Storm right there. That's really bad for the Storm. DC with that huge play, man. That's crazy. And again, Orlando gets the ball at half, but if DC is able to use up these 3.5 minutes and score, they can go into halftime with a huge lead. That's defending football, baby. Yeah, it ain't offensive football right there for Orlando, baby. Oh no, that's terrible. That's rough. That's rough to watch right there. If you're a Storm fan, you got to be sick to your stomach. I mean, that's terrible, man. I mean, I'm going to be completely honest. I think that going for it was the right call there. In that specific instance, and here's why. You called a timeout. I've always said I personally, again, I understand when there's a time, but numerous times I hate when coaches call a timeout when they're about to get a delay of game. I think that is one of the biggest wastes of a timeout. 5 yards is not that big a difference. The fact that he did call it there, I think as soon as it was first and goal at the 1, they already knew they were going for a fourth down. You used a timeout. I think they should have gone for it there. Now, when you would have gotten the delay of game penalty, now in that scenario, should you have taken the delay of game and then kicked the field goal? That's different. But once he called the timeout, you were forced to go for it. But, I mean, hey, you do it, you, Anthony Beck. Anthony Beck is in the playoffs, usually bad decisions are made. Usually, my bad. Every time bad decisions are made, but yeah. Even AJ would have kicked that. AJ would have punched that. AJ would have been like, okay, let's kick the field goal. And Tyler Siskey would have been like, no, bro, you got to punt it. Trust me, bro. Punt the ball. And he would have been like, okay, Siskey, I got you. And they would. That was bad for Orlando. That was bad. That was bad sack take. I hate the decision to pass there. Like, I think the worst part is when you decide to do that passing play, you put yourself in a scenario to take the sack, right? A lot of this is trying to play like, again, we're in the NFL or we're in the UFL. You don't need to play 6D chess, but like sometimes you got to play chess, not checkers. He played checkers. He threw the ball. So he took a sack. If you don't take a sack and you throw an incompletion, DC gets the ball at the 1 yard line. There's a very real likelihood you get a safety. If you run the ball, the last 2 times you ran the ball, you got back to the line of scrimmage, meaning at the 1 yard line. So even the decision to pass, like that was a bad play call. That was just a bad play call right there. They really should not have thrown a ball like that. They should have actually done like the quick little pass up front, or they should have done a run. Again, I get hindsight's 2020. If they score a touchdown, we wouldn't be saying this. But it's about, what are the outcomes? If you pass the ball, a logical outcome is you will take a sack. In this scenario, a sack is a horrid thing to take because you're now giving DC the ball outside of safety range, which is terrible. Like, let's look at this. Ball snapped. It would have been a very quick throw, but he could have at least tried to throw it away. But he did technically have KJ. He could have thrown it. He wouldn't have scored, but he could have tried. They hand the ball off in first down. There is a flag. An 8-yard gain there. Because they didn't stop the play, that's probably going to be on Orlando. So it's going to be an 8-yard gain for the DC defenders. Again, if DC is able to just, eat this clock out and either kick a field goal or score a touchdown, this could be really big for them. Orlando does get the ball at half, remember that, but they are out of challenges. They used their one challenge on a terrible challenge call that even if it worked, it was a bad call, and it didn't work. Talking to Derek Robertson, who is your MVP candidate, I guess. I don't know how the voting was done to put him there, but yeah. True, Adam. Honestly, true. Ball is snapped. Hands it off. And it's going to be good stop by Orlando's defense. Going to be maybe a 1-yard gain right there for the DC defenders. And Orlando only has 1 timeout left. So even if you count 2-minute warning, that's 2 timeouts. So if DC can get just 1 more first down, they can at the very least basically prevent Orlando from scoring whatsoever in this half. At the end of the half, which would be great for them. But we'll see what happens here. 3rd and 1. Got to be quick here. They only got 8 seconds left on the play clock. 5 seconds. 3. Ball is snapped. Handed off. First down for the DC defenders. That's a huge first down. That basically eliminates any chance of Orlando really scoring. I know technically they can with timeouts, but if you're a DC, I would let this go to 2-minute warning. Normally, I don't like going to 2-minute warning. I would here. This is the scenario where you let the 2-minute warning hit. That means that Orlando is basically screwed in terms of, having any top chance to score in this drive, in this half, barring a fumble or something, but yeah. Yeah, coming in, work here. And Anthony Hines. This DC team, man, like, there was some shady business. Like, Anthony Hines just got cut to immediately sign with DC. Mintz comes out of retirement. Like, bro, this DC team, man, is crazy. It's almost like Tony Brothers was refereeing for the Spurs, except it was the league helping DC out. Tony Brothers and the Spurs. Oh my God! 2-minute warning is officially hit. Mm. This is the Orlando Storm, baby. What a team. Anyone but OKC. Okay, Chet Holmgren, man. Oh my God. The best part is Chet looks even worse in hindsight. Like, he already looked terrible. I mean, he was worse than Ben Simmons against the Hawks. Like, let's put that in perspective. But now Victor is getting beat pretty badly by Karl Anthony Towns. Like, how bad does that make Chet look? Like, oh my God, Chet Holmgren, man. His trade value probably plummeted. Like, plummeted. Like, that's bad. But yeah. Wemby, man. Yeah, I mean, like I said, that series is pretty much over. Like that series is, for all intensive purposes, over. The fact that you've got 2 games back to back in New York, the fact that you have a third game in Game 6, like the Spurs are not winning 2 out of 3 in New York, and even them winning 2 out of 2 home games is very unlikely the way they've been playing. So like, it's like I said, this series is either going to be a 6-game series that the Spurs won, or it's going to be like a 5 or a 4-game series the Knicks won. That, yeah. Yeah, the Storm are looking rough right now. The Storm are getting beat pretty bad. I mean, this is not looking good. It's Anthony Beck. Like, this is the biggest issue. I gotta check, but I believe that this was a huge reason why I ended up saying what I said in my predictions video. Like, it's just Anthony Beck can't win the playoffs, man. Like, there's something about how he coaches where as soon as the stage gets big and bright, he just sort of doesn't do anything. Like that challenge, like I said, let's say that challenge was successful. Terrible challenge. If it's successful, you get first and goal. Like, normally, when you throw a challenge, it's for a big play, like a touchdown, preventing a turnover. He did it to maybe get 7 instead of 3. Like, uh, it doesn't make sense. The call itself, like, even if that was a guaranteed lock, that would work, the challenge. It was still a bad challenge. So it was a doubly bad challenge. It sucked because, number one, you weren't going to get it. And number two, even if you did get it, what were you going to gain? Literally nothing. 4 points is not worth your only challenge. And the fact that it didn't even work, like, that was a terrible challenge call by Beck. And look where they are now, man. It's terrible. They're Sean McDermott of the UFL. Not a bad comparison. We'll be back when Seattle comes back, but Las Vegas Team NBA is where you take it. And you already have the Kings. You could do the Queens. The Las Vegas Queens. Why not? It'd be funny. Ball is snapped. They hand it off. Cuts to the right side of the field. Going to be about a 3-yard gain for the DC defenders on that rush. But as a coach, he ain't it. It's like a playoff coach. I mean, he's like one of those guys that'll get you really far in the regular season because, again, he's a good motivator, does make good decisions in the regular season. But when the playoffs come around, like, it's why I had Shannon Harris as a better coach than him after the championship game last year, because Beck just makes mistakes in the playoffs every year. He does it every single year. Again, 2023 against the Dragons was basically a playoff game, and his team got completely destroyed. Ball is snapped. They fake the handoff. They throw it. Ooh. It's going to be false start then. Las Vegas Gamblers. Yeah, why not? What about the Las Vegas DraftKings? Las Vegas FanDuels. Las Vegas Sports Books. So they still haven't said what this flag is. I mean, it might be unimpeded to the quarterback, but it didn't look like that was the case. Yep. False start on the offense, yeah. 5-yard penalty. They're going to allow for the runoff, which, fair. Now Vegas. We'll give him some rings. Josh Allen in a Super Bowl, man. Yeah, I agree. I don't think that's happening. It's just some guys you'll watch and you'll know they won't win. Like Chris Paul was one. Like when Rajon Rondo said, "I got a ring, you're never gonna get one." Like at that moment, it was like, yeah, he's never winning a ring, and he didn't. James Harden, you knew he was never gonna win a championship. Pretty clear he's never winning a championship. I mean, like if LeBron wants to go to Cleveland, he needs to be Le GM and force Atkinson to be fired and get rid of Harden. I'm gonna be honest. I'll talk about it at halftime. 2nd and 12 for the DC Defenders in shotgun. Clock is running. They're basically playing to maybe get a field goal. At worst, they're just going to end the clock and end the half. Beans pressured, rolls to his right, throws it deep to the right side. It's going to be caught at the 40-yard line out of bounds. Great big play right there, and it stops the clock right there. So they only need about, again, with Matt McCrane, they really only need like 15 yards. You want about like 18, but you need 15. So they're in a very good position to try and get a field goal here. The casino's another great movie. The casino's that'd be great. That'd be great. I mean, whatever they do, it should be a fun name. That's what they do, something funny. 1st and 10 now for the DC Defenders. Ball is snapped, fakes the handoff, gets pressured, misses the sack, throws it to the left side of the field, wide open, caught at the 35 to the 30. Was that Cornell Powell? Braylon Sanders with a huge play right there. Again, just spike the ball real quick, or just run it, honestly. No, just spike the ball. Great play right there. There's a huge play. It's about a 30-yard pass right there. They're snapping. They're doing a legit play here. 2 receivers in the top and bottom of your screens. Ball snapped. Stares down his receiver, and even though he stared him down, he gets the first down. That's going to stop the clock for a few seconds. That's huge for DC. I mean, that was being stared down his receiver, and the DB just, like, stood there, was like, and did nothing. That was terrible by Orlando's defense right there. Whoever that DB was, that was a horrible play. And they're going to spike this one with 21 seconds left. They might get a touchdown here. Oh, man, this is not looking good right here for the Storm at all. I need the bean machine to malfunction. Oh, my gosh. That's some crazy stuff. I mean, that's terrible play by that cornerback by Orlando. Let's see this replay. That's not the replay I want. I want to see the other replay. I need to see the other replay because that last throw, he stared down his receiver. They're not showing it. That's crazy. But at least from the first viewing, that was purely on the cornerback. Like, when your quarterback stares down a receiver, that's when you know I got to jump this route. He didn't even try to jump the route. That was a terrible play by the Orlando defense. I mean, technically, it's 3 straight back-to-back bad plays, but that one was really egregious. But 1st and 10 for the DC Defenders now. 14-6 is the score. DC is out of timeouts now. They did decide to use a timeout there, which I'm not a fan of. Again, the clock stops on 1st down, so I'm not a fan of that timeout. Wish you would have saved it. Just called a spike, but it is what it is. 21 seconds left. 1st and 10 for the DC Defenders. Blow the whistle. 25 seconds left. In shotgun. Let's see. Ball is snapped. They hand it off. 1st down at about the 4.5-yard line. Oh my God, this Orlando defense is just getting crushed. They're just going to spike the ball here. And they spike the ball. Don't do the Perez spike, oh my God. Looks like he's asking for an offsides call, which, I mean, let's see this. Oh, no, not showing that one. Okay, but yeah, this is bad for Orlando's defense. Oh my gosh. Yeah, he just decided to hand it off. Nobody was there. I mean, that was a great rush by Jackson. I mean, number 10 just kind of missed that tackle there as well, but it's looking really bad for Orlando. I mean, a touchdown here really makes this tough for Orlando. They're going to be forced to score in that first drive in the second half. In shotgun. DC's got about 2 plays to score a touchdown here. Pressured, throws it away. Ooh, he didn't really throw it away, but incomplete. You got 1 play for a touchdown here. If you don't get it, kick the field goal. And, take a, 11-point lead. So that's what they should do. I don't know what that goal was, man. Anthony Beck special, baby. Calling a pat. Like I said, I would have gone for it, but I would not have thrown the ball there. I would have ran the ball in fourth. I don't know why you're throwing it, giving DC extra yards potentially. That's terrible, but whatever. Ball is snapped. Bean's rolling to his right. He's going to run for it. He's getting pressured. That's a touchdown. Are they going to call illegal forward pass? It looks like they might be thinking about forward pass that's illegal, but I don't know. Let's see. They got to show the replay of that. Because I believe the rule is your entire body has to be on the line. I believe it's the full body, so that might still be good. That should be reviewed, but we'll see. I don't know for sure if that was a forward pass that was illegal, technically speaking. But we'll see. Let's see. Are they going to show the replay? They're just showing Anthony Beck being upset in the sideline. So it's about the 5-yard line. Let's see. Great play right there. Great play. I think that's good. If the rule is your full body, I think that's good. I got to see exactly where they snapped the ball, though. I got to see exactly where it is. Wow, I guess the ball was a bit further up or back. Okay. I guess we're not seeing a good angle of the replay. But bottom line is going to go for kick. What? Okay, illegal formation, so it's going to be a kick for the DC defenders here. So 3rd and goal here. 28-yard field goal. Let's see. Kick is up, and it's no good. No good. If that was on the other hashes, it would have been in. That's a terrible miss right there. Okay, do they have... I want to see a replay on that, because I really thought... like, okay, I don't know, but... Orlando, yeah, definitely a huge break for Orlando. Orlando got bailed out by that missed field goal, because, oh man, it was a terrible play by Orlando's defense. This could end up being the reason Orlando wins this game, is that right there. That entire sequence, them calling that a touch, calling that for illegal forward pass and all that, like... I mean, they never really showed the replay on that, which I'm kind of shocked they never really showed it, because it was close. The Storm luck out again. I'll be so mad. Yeah, they have, for sure. Yeah, no points. It's rough, definitely. Yeah, Shan Harris talking about having mistakes in playoff football. I can't have it, which is true. I mean, that was a bad one for sure. Anthony Beck. Oh, God. When trailing this season at the half. Beck 0-8 in his career when trailing at the half. Oh, my God. That's a terrible stat. That's horrible. That's terrible. Yeah, you know, Beck, you could have also not thrown challenge at nothing. Like, I'm just saying, you could have had a challenge still, but you don't. Lucked out with the gamblers. Yeah, there's definitely a couple games that they definitely have like gotten really lucky at for sure. I mean, 1-5. I mean, technically speaking, you know, there's 2 back-to-backs at the end of the year, so like, you know, we're putting like a slight asterisk on 1-5 there. Just saying. Ooh, they got the big guys in the mid-time. We actually having a legit halftime show with Zubin and Roddy. Actual halftime reporting for the first time all year. Crazy. Hoping not to shake another field goal. Yeah, McCrane's been rough the last couple of weeks. It sucks, but like Tanner Brown has been the most consistent kicker of the year. Matt McCrane still, I think, is the 2nd best kicker in the league this year, but he definitely has been a bit inconsistent the last couple of weeks, which you hate to see. But I would still put him as the 2nd best kicker this year. I still can't believe they threw the ball there. I really can't. That was such a bad play call. That was a bad call right there, but we are in halftime now. Jason Bean, 141 passing yards, 25 rushing yards. Again, it's like I said, they needed Bean to just be consistent through the air. They didn't need him to be good. They just needed him to be consistent. If he was consistent and the ground game is what it usually is, and Orlando is what they usually are, DC would win. And that's been the case so far. Okay, halftime show. To think, bro, NBC used to just have him every game. You know, you just have Jason Garrett casually there at the halftime talking about the USFL, bro. We missed those days. We didn't know how good we had it. Yeah, they traded him. Zubin talking about the trade, getting rid of him. The Kings and the Battlehawks, the next game. This is true. It's still an 8-point game. Honestly, I don't know for sure if it's better. I think it's overall, I think they want DC to make it. I think they want their home team or the hosting team to make it one of these years, at least. But win it, I wouldn't say so. I think that for them, if St. Louis or Louisville were to win, I think that the best case, the league, I genuinely think wants whoever wins the Kings Battlehawks game to win the championship. Not only do I think that those are the two teams that are the best two teams right now in terms of winning a championship, I think that that's who's better for the league. I mean, DC won it last year, didn't really do much for their attendance. I think they just want them in title game. That's what I would say. That's what I would say. I think that it's technically better for the Kings. But, like, we've kind of seen that it doesn't really matter, like, you know, it doesn't really matter that much. But I would say that that's who they would want. I just think that it's going to be those two teams anyway. I can't see Beck and Corbin, this combo, winning 2 playoff games. I don't think DC, with their injuries, are able to get it done against the other ones, but yeah. A-Dog with some misinformation, because there are rivalries in this league. But we'll see what ends up happening with it. Let's see. 2 new notifications, just some random stuff. Okay. The Mets studio-ish halftime show is hilarious. Matt McCrane the missed. Yeah, that was a bad one. That was a bad miss, but I guess you could say that Moses. Like I said, I don't really think it matters that much. I don't. I think the Kings would be the best overall choice to win it, but that's only because like Louisville loves that team, man. Like that team had a garbage schedule and people showed up every single week. So I guess that's part of me just thinking like they deserve that title. And that's why I think they should host it next year. I think Louisville's been such a great fan base, but yeah. I mean, what counts as a historical rivalry? I mean, the Battlehawks and Defenders are a bigger rivalry than like a lot. Like technically speaking, like you know, the Panthers Cowboys has lasted forever, but it's not a real rivalry. Whereas the Battlehawks Defenders is. This year I am. I did not last year. Like I said, I was not going to St. Louis again. St. Louis is respectfully to the city is not worth another vacation. If you've been to St. Louis, I would say twice. There's really no reason to go back, right? It's not like Canton. It's not like DC. It's not like Toronto. It's not like, I guess, Los Angeles. It's not like even Memphis. Like St. Louis, once you've been to St. Louis once, you don't have to go back. And I've been there twice now. If I'm gonna either have to fly somewhere or drive 10 plus hours, I ain't doing it for St. Louis. Like I'm pretty sure I even said even if the Panthers had made it last year, I still wouldn't have gone. So like that's what I would say for that. But I am going this year to the DC one. I said last year that if it was in DC, I was going to go, and then they, you know, put it in St. Louis again for some reason, so I didn't go, and then they put it back there, or they put it in DC like it should have been, so I'm going to DC, baby. Which crazy, going to DC twice this year is, yeah, that's a crazy one, but I did not expect to be going to DC twice in a year, but that's what it is, baby. Ooh, big WCJ, nice. I hope it's a fun time. DC is should be a great place. Stadium's in a weird location though, like not in a bad way, just weird. But yeah, like so that's crazy. Like let me put this way, right? If you're not, you can go to so many different cities that have a baseball and hockey team. Let me put it this way, right? Let's Toronto versus St. Louis, for example. Toronto, if I plan the trip right, I can go to the Toronto Sports Card Expo. St. Louis, I can go to the Arch. Toronto, I can go to the Hockey Hall of Fame. St. Louis, I can go to the Arch. Toronto, I can see the Maple Leafs. I can see the Blue Jays. I can see the Raptors. St. Louis, I can see the Blues, the Cardinals, and the Arch. Like, you know, it's not only a lot of stuff to do with St. Louis. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to be disrespectful. Like, the stadium is great. I loved my time going there. That's before they did the overhaul in the field. I thought it was a great stadium. The people there kicked us out like that. But I thought it was a great stadium, all things considered. But, like, DC, you've got all the monuments. You got, like, the Smithsonian. You got all the museums. You got a lot of stuff you can do. You know. But St. Louis, it's like, I'll go to St. Louis to just, you know, see the Arch again. Like, I've been to a Cardinals game before. Yeah. The all UFL offense. Man, I didn't even realize it. Not a single Stallion made it. Or King. The zoo! Oh, no, not the zoo! Oh, no. I ain't going to no zoo. No, I'm not a fan of zoos. I've never been, even when I was a kid, I was never a fan of a zoo. Like, if I go, I see, like, 3 animals I actually care about, and that's about it. Yeah, dude. St. Louis Championship, the clock hit 0, they kicked everybody out within, like, 20 minutes. Dude, Canton, literally, like, they did not care. Canton staff were like, you're there, have fun. I mean, that's why, that's part of the reason I've always been a big advocate for Canton. They had a great staff. They let you stay out there, right? Like, I mean, I'm pretty sure, like, Simmons was out there with fans for, like, which, by the way, great to see him back playing, was out there for, like, almost an hour after the game. So, that was a huge one. Yeah, tight ends was rough this year, for sure. Tight ends were rough. Oh, my God. And, I mean, I bet Briley Moore was second in that, who was not on IR, but was also injured for, like, half the year almost. Like, tight ends were rough this year. And 7th talent this year didn't feel as high. I think that the talent for... Actually, I wouldn't fully agree. I think wide receiver, this felt like the best year of wide receivers. It really did. Like, normally it's like, I feel like there's a couple really good receivers and everybody else is okay. Like, I would argue there was, like, 4 or 5 elite receivers and, like, 10 or 12, like, truly great ones. A link for that, I do not. UFL, man, used to be on DAZN, then decided F everybody internationally for some stupid reason, and so they screwed over all the Canada fans, European fans. Gotta love it. Well, I think the receivers is really good. Quarterback, I think, was sort of the same. Like, again, it was a bit weaker, but I think it was overall the same. Defense, I think, were solid too, but tight ends and running backs were rough this year for sure, especially tight end. Oh my God. Oh man, tight ends are bad. Like, that's no disrespect to, like, you know, Neville and Moore, they were great, but like, you know, usually you have 2 tight ends that are like top 10 in receiving yards, top like 5 in touchdowns. This year, it's like, you know, Alize Mack would have a couple big plays, Gunnar Oaks would have a couple big plays, Briley Moore had a couple great games and things like that. UFL is America's league. Yeah. Oh, I mean, hey, I guess, bro, Mike Rapoli came in and said, nah, we ain't doing no international streaming. Like, what? Try to figure out plan to do things. I mean, if you're gonna stay there, CJ, it depends, because like, there might be like an Orioles game you go to. Like, Camden Yards is one of those stadiums I do want to go to. So like, in theory, you could go to like a Camden Yards game, you know, or Camden Yards game, Orioles game. I mean, maybe I don't remember exactly when things happen, but like maybe there's some Ravens things you could do, technically speaking. Then there's obviously like the museums and stuff. Because, like, when you go to DC, you've got, like, that whole Maryland and, like, Northern Virginia area that you can pretty much do whatever you want in, because everything's within, like, 2 hours of each other. So, yeah. Hopefully that should be better for tight ends. Yeah, tight ends been rough this year, man. It was a bit rough this year. I mean, like, it's not like they were like bad. It's just they weren't, great. Like last year, just like the last. I mean, Sternberger and Canella have just been so good. I don't remember. I know the Stallions. He had the fumble. Because, I mean, he only has 2 turnovers on the year. He has 1 fumble that he lost, and he has 1 interception. Like, he just doesn't turn the ball over. But, I mean, he's been super consistent about not turning the ball over like that. That's the biggest reason I think he's the MVP right there. The Storm by 30 points. Playing a team 3 times is tough, and it's like I said, if you don't have a ground game, like, the thing is, the Storm, I never viewed would have a lead. Like, a big lead. The Storm's lack of a ground game means that they could never have a huge lead, or a huge lead whatsoever. Because they just don't have one. It's just, if you don't have a ground game, you can't keep a huge lead. Because you're not going to be able to milk the clock out. You're not going to be able to keep drives consistently going. That's why I view Jack Plummer as the real MVP. Because if he is not playing great football, this team can't do anything. Because they don't have a running back. And we're seeing that to a degree today. Yes, they're getting to the red zone, but what happens? You get to the red zone, the field shrinks, you need to rely more on your ground game. We don't have a running back, so we're going to throw the ball on 4th down and take a sack. You know what I mean? Like, that's the issue with the Storm. That's been their Achilles heel all year, is they don't have a ground game, and I never understood why they never fixed it. Like, that's a huge reason why, like, I've always viewed him as, like, a slightly overhyped coach. Because, like, he doesn't fully understand when to make changes, right? He did it last year where he took forever to realize Max Duggan wasn't that guy. And then this year, he just never realized that he needed to overhaul the ground game. Return is up to 30 for the Orlando Storm. It's going to be down about 32-yard line. In a run and shoot offense, low-key true. I mean, the best QB was definitely Jack Plummer this year. Like, Chandler Rogers was definitely, great for what he was, but Jack Plummer, I mean, the efficiency is insane. I mean, the lack of interceptions, the lack of fumbles is just crazy. Like, he's got, like, I think it's like a 16-2 touchdown interception rate, or turnover ratio. It's something crazy. Okay, it looks like we're about to have something really funny happen. 1st and 10 for the Orlando Storm. Ball is snapped, fakes the handoff, throws to the left. It is tipped by Roland. It's going to be a pick 6. Oh, no. Oh, man. Chris Rowland, what are you doing? Pick 6, DC. That's 20-6. They might be calling him down early, though. We'll see if they keep him down. I think they're going to call him down by contact. I got to see his replay. I mean, it was a bit of an overthrow by Plummer, but it hit both of Rowland's hands. Nah, that was on Plummer. I mean, like, unless you had, like, Harold Carmichael catching that, like, that was a high pass. That's on Plummer. Even as the resident guy who said Rowland shouldn't have been all UFL, that one was on Jack Plummer. That was a bad throw. So there's his 2nd interception on the year. I know they have a couple that do it, but I know what you mean. Like, there's a couple of guys that pretty much are only UFL, but then there's a couple that aren't. But yeah, it's only they play with the lead for once. I hope they do. I mean, if they score a touchdown here, it's gonna be really tough because they're getting the free drive that like Orlando had in week 1. Pass thrown to the left, caught by Bradley Moore. Oh, great play by Bradley Moore. Gets the 1st down. He was able to just make a little stutter step, stop moving, got past the defender, and kept going for the 1st down. Great play by the DC defenders right there in Bradley Moore. Like I said, he has a chip on his shoulder. He probably thinks he should have been all UFL tight end. Brandon saying, yeah, Beck not winning anything. Probably right. Probably right. He better not win Coach of the Year. Respectfully, that's Chris Redman. If Anthony Beck gets Coach of the Year, man, you thought my Roland rant was bad? Get ready for Anthony Beck. In shotgun, motioning receiver from the top of your screen to the bottom of your screen. Ball is snapped. Hand it off. About a 2-yard gain. Maybe they call it 1.5 right there for the DC defenders. But they are in field goal range already. Again, Matt McCray did miss a very short field goal, so not a guaranteed score, but a touchdown here would be huge. Joe Tessitore, the WWE guy, SmackDown. 2nd and 8 for the DC defenders. We've got 13.5 minutes left in the 3rd quarter. in shotgun. Ball snap. They hand it off. Gonna be about a 3.5, 4-yard carry right there. And choking in the playoffs. Oh my gosh. Hey, you know what? At least you're like a Bills fan. Well, no, this is more like the Ravens because they're not even winning a playoff game. The Steelers! But, yeah, it's definitely rough. The Storm, I mean, this is, like I said, it's just every factor felt like DC was winning this game. Like, to me, it's like last week. Like, last week, I was like, people thought I was crazy that I picked the Renegades and the Gamblers to win. And I'm like, dude, trust me on this. Again, we still got a lot of football to play. But I just had that feeling that DC was going to win this game. It's the third straight matchup. The Anthony Becht effect. The Jack Plummer. I told you guys, I hated that they kept Jack Plummer in the game last week. I thought that was a really dumb idea to keep him in the game last week, and they did. The Deshaun Corbin issue. Penalty on the Orlando defense going to be 5 yards for the DC defenders. Like, every factor just felt like DC was going to win this game to me. Jack Plummer starting in the whole game last week was a bad one. I have no idea why he started the whole game last week. What the Kings did was right. Keep him in for a little bit, and that's it. Yeah, Marvin, we did have a couple guys already get NFL shots, which you'd love to see that happen. Which, again, even funnier, because the Gamblers rested like 4 of their starters because of that and still beat the Stallions. Oh, it was great. It's like the Ravens, we all know where this might get fired. I still can't believe that they would have kept Harbaugh if it wasn't for the whole, like, issue with his OC. Like, man, I really don't get how the Ravens didn't understand, like, maybe benching Derrick Henry when he's the only guy doing anything against New England was a bad call, and they were like, watch this. First and goal for the DC defenders at the 5-yard line. Ball is snapped. Bean rolls to the right. Pressured. Throws it to the corner of the end zone, and completely just threw it away. Second and goal. Exalted Vault with it. Changed PFP midway through the game. Ooh. Yeah, only issue is that good old ESPN's got to be so stingy they can't pay anyone to do anything. They don't even want to pay anyone like $10. I mean, seriously, Stephen A's on like 8 shows now. Like, dude, nobody wants that. Got to be so stingy. They pay all this money to like 3 guys to do everything. It's crazy. That was, honestly, that's a good thing they didn't catch it. That's a good call for him not to catch it. I know he was trying to. He shouldn't have caught it. That was the right call. So, we'll see. He wore an Apple Watch a couple days ago. Oh, wait, I was sick. Field goal. I mean, hey, it's definitely not good, but the way you got to view this if you're a DC fan is that if you are forced to kick a field goal here, this is what I would call a drive you shouldn't have, right? This is a drive you should not have. The kickoff drives are the ultimate examples of a drive you shouldn't have. DC essentially was able to get the opening half and second half kickoffs, so even a field goal here is huge. Throws it to the left side of the field. Caught by Bean. Oh, he dropped it! Man, Bean could have had that. That would have been a touchdown reception for Bean, but they're going to have to kick the field goal here. That was almost a crazy play right there. Are they going to kick the field goal here? As long as they make this kick, this will be huge. But again, you got the interception right off the rip, so this is a drive you really shouldn't have had. So if you kick the field goal here, make it 17-6, you got an 11-point lead. You know, yes, you did technically leave 3 points off the board in the last drive, and you arguably left 4 off the board here. You're still up 11. You were able to eat up about 4.5 minutes. Like, you'll take it. Kick us up, it is good. Jason Bean, Apple Watch. I see him call a few games good this year. Good in them, capitalize. So Orlando, man, Anthony Becht, we got to keep the meme alive. We can't have Anthony Becht winning a playoff game. You have to keep the meme alive. Okay. Let's see. Maybe we get lucky. Are we trending? No, unfortunate. I thought they still had it, but they didn't use it. They might not, though, but I know what you mean. The chest camera, a lot of the extra cameras they had would be cool to see. I thought they still did it. They just didn't show it at all, but I honestly don't know for sure about that. That might just be like imagining. Okay, that's that. That's that. Okay. That's gonna be a good finish for that one. I mean, I guess I could put that game on whenever I have a chance to. But DC, man, 17-6 lead. DC, remember, Orlando doesn't have a challenge. That's the important thing I remember as well. Orlando wasted their challenge. They thoroughly wasted that challenge. So that's a huge advantage that DC does have over them, is they have their challenge. So, you know, the timeouts may have reset 3 each, but Orlando does not have a time or doesn't have a challenge. DC does. That's going to really help them out in this one. So we'll see if they're able to actually, you know, take advantage of it. You know, they might not even need to use it, but they got an 11-point lead right now. See what Orlando does. I think it's nice. It's small for sure, but it's definitely a nice stadium. I think the fans did a great job packing the stadium. I was expecting this to be like a half-full stadium. They're actually looking really good. So, honestly, really solid. It's a great one to have as a backup stadium for Orlando. Like, if you're able to the thing is, if you're able to build a relationship with these stadiums as a true backup, like Fort Hood might be like a yearly sort of thing, that's overall huge because it helps your scheduling out. Because a big issue of the UFL is in the stadiums where they're not the main team in, they have to basically be second fiddle in terms of getting games. And if you have a second stadium that you know you can get fans to, it does help you out a lot. So if they are able to keep building a good relationship with the stadium, that will help them out in the future. So overall, I do like this one. 3 straight weeks showing Orlando to DC, back down to Orlando. Like, bruh. The main one I would, honestly, is not even a change. Let us know what the challenge rule is. Because they keep changing it without telling anyone what the change is, right? Like, we changed the 1 to the 2 to back to the 1. Can you challenge a pre-snap? Can you not? I just want it to be clear. That's the change I would do, is just letting everyone know what the challenge rule is. Because they've changed it at least twice during this year without telling anyone, including coaches, which I don't understand why they would do that. That's what I would say. That's the main one, because like that, like I understand the punting rule is controversial. I understand the 1 foot in bound rule, but like that challenge rule is aggravating. That's what I would say. Of all teams boring domes, I hate when it's every team that does it. Like the Saints, I feel like should be. That's part of their identity. But like the Vikings, no. Why are you in a dome? Like, why are you in a dome? Like, there are a couple of teams that I feel like should always be in a dome from now on. And that's like the Saints. It's about it. That's about it. But like a lot of these teams, like, dude, like the Bills going to a dome stadium, I think is a joke. Like, bro, what happened to the game I loved, right? The Mark Jackson quote, what happened to the game I loved? Return up to the 20-yard line. Great special teams coverage by DC. They're going to be able to tackle rolling at about the 20.5-yard line. Great play right there. So they're going to be forcing him some bad positioning right there. First interception since week 2 is crazy. That's a crazy stat. Hell, technically it's his first turnover in general in like 5 weeks, because it was the second Birmingham game where he had the other one. That's a crazy stat. Yeah, it's like the UFL. The Battlehawks, I feel like dome is their identity. They should stay in it. Other teams, no. Like, I could not imagine DC being in a dome. That would be just, oh my god. That'd be terrible. Ball is snapped, throws to the right side, caught in the middle of the field. Going to be about a 6-yard gain. Even Birmingham, like, even though I understand Birmingham, the weather issues, that feels like its identity. So, like, that's how I view KC to be in a dome. No, I'm not. I feel that. I feel that. Oh my god. Like, dude, the NFL needs to understand, bro. Football, weather exists. Like, you don't need to only play Super Bowls in these climate-controlled places. Like, dude, some of the best games ever, usually the best games ever, are weather games. Like, you remember the Browns Steelers, you know, playing in some snow game from a couple years ago. You don't remember some random game in, like, a dome, for the most part. Plummer getting pressured. He gets taken down. That's going to be about an 8.5-yard sack for the DC defenders. I believe that was Joe Wallace that got the sack on. That's a huge play right there. And yes, it was Joe Wallace getting the sack. And then he forced a 3rd and 11 for the DC defense. Wait, what? 3rd and 11? Okay, yeah. 3rd and 11 for the DC defenders right there. Look at that. He put his arm up so he prevented him from throwing the ball, and then he used his other arm to grab him down. That's a perfect play by Joe Wallace right there. That's a great play. The Mud Bowl. Which one? I mean, I'm assuming you're talking about the classic Steelers Dolphins one, but then you also have like the Bears versus the Niners from a couple years ago. The Tsunami Bowl, right? The Panthers Jaguars. Ooh. Or no, it was the Monsoon Bowl. My bad, the Monsoon Bowl. So it's gonna be third down for the DC or for the Orlando Storm here after that great sack by Joe Wallace. 3rd and 11. Ball is snapped. They rush up the middle. Great play. Immediately taken down. It's going to force them to have to kick this or punt this ball. Awesome play by DC's defense. This is the drive that could really kill it right now. If DC is able to score a touchdown here, make this a huge lead, ooh, man, it's going to be really bad for Orlando. I mean, it's currently an 11-point game. If you score a touchdown, that's 17. Even if you go for one, that makes it an 18-point game. Yes, technically a 2-score. For those who don't know, the UFL in 9 is a 1-score game, but it makes it a really tough 2-score game if you get a touchdown and an extra point. This could be really bad. Joe Tessitore. He's something else, man. Pat, they're going to... Second... Wait, what? Was there a flag they didn't talk about on the broadcast? Are we having a laugh? Oh my god, UFL, man. So 3rd and 3. Apparently there was a flag that they didn't actually, like, mention at all. Offsides penalty, which they didn't announce, but whatever. That's hilarious. They didn't even mention the flag. That's hilarious. That's the second time in this game where there's been a very questionable use of calling refs and timeouts. So 3rd and 3 now. Ball is snapped. Pressured. Throws it to the left side of the field. Oh, it's wide open. Was that Alize Mack? That's going to be a touchdown for the Orlando Storm. That's a touchdown for the Orlando Storm. Huge play. That's about a 60-yard pass right there to Jerome Cap. My bad, not Alize Mack. Jerome Cap with a touchdown. That makes it 17-12. The Vikings had a weather Super Bowl game at the old Tulane. The famous snow game. Hey, the Ice Bowl. Don't forget about that one. But 60-yard touchdown, Jerome Cap. Again, really not liking how they're talking, how the refs are doing this one in terms of not announcing plays. But in the end, it's a touchdown for Orlando. It's a 5-point game now. If they make this extra point, it'll be a 4-point game. You should be going for 2 here, but I don't think they will be, but we'll see. Keep scoring everything. Yeah, DC needs to keep the scoring up for sure. Shannon's challenging. Ooh, let's see what he challenges. See, now this is the difference. Even if this is a bad challenge in itself, at the very least, you're challenging a touchdown, not a random 3rd down play like Anthony Beck did. You know what I mean? Challenging for a hold. If he gets this, this is huge. It's going to be a 10-yard penalty. It was 3rd down, so it's going to make it like 3rd and 12. You're going to take off the touchdown. That's a really good challenge if it works. Right? Again, difference between what Beck did. Beck just threw a challenge flag, and even if it worked, it would have just given him 1st and goal. Oh, that might be good. That's going to work. That's going to be a successful challenge. That's a good call. Yeah, that's going to be a flag. He got turned, so that's going to be a successful challenge by Shannon Harris. That's going to take the touchdown off the board. And again, that's the difference. Like, that's the difference between Shannon Harris and Anthony Beck. Anthony Beck, when the playoffs come, he makes mistakes. He threw a challenge flag. It didn't work. For Shannon, he was able to use it correctly. And so that's going to take the touchdown off the board. So it is back to being 17-6. That also makes it a 10-yard penalty, meaning they're going to be going for 3rd and 12. So it's not going to force 4th down because of the penalty. It's going to replay the down. So it's 3rd and 12 for the Orlando Storm now. That was a great challenge by Shannon Harris right there. Now we'll see if they can get a stop. If Orlando's able to get the 1st down here, they could potentially make it really mean nothing and just, waste some time. But both teams are out of challenges, so no more super challenges for the game. Anthony Beck being upset, classic. 3rd and 13. Let's see if they can get this here. In shotgun. 3 receivers at the bottom of your screen, 1 up top. Running back is to his right in the backfield with him. Ball is snapped. Pressured. Evades the sack, throws over the middle. Incomplete. A bit too low of a throw. Camper wasn't over there. It's going to be incomplete. Going to force the punt. That's huge for the defenders right there. Losing in the playoffs, true. Again, technically it'll be 3 in a row. Really, it's 4 in a row. But yeah, Anthony Beck, baby, you know, they both used one challenge. One of them used it successfully, the other didn't. And that's the deciding factor right now, is that one guy used their challenge correctly, the other didn't, right? Beck's was terrible on 2 fronts. Harris's was great on 2 fronts. So, that's the difference. But again, it is still only an 11-point game. If Orlando is able to get a stop on this next drive, they will very much still be in the game. As for DC, they need a touchdown to really make this a super lead. A field goal, yes, still helps you, but you want a touchdown here. Punt is up. Going to be recovered initially at the 25-yard line. Cuts to the middle of the field, gets to the 30. Cuts to the right, going to be down about the 31-yard line. So really solid right there for the DC defenders. Won the field position battle by about 10 yards technically. Good old Anthony Beck, man. Made that terrible challenge. Yeah, I mean, if Orlando is able to get a good stop here, I mean, they're still very much in this game. Remember, you have the 4th and 12, so it's huge. Like, DC, a field goal is good. If you had made the field goal before half, a field goal here would have been huge. But now that you missed that earlier one, you really need a touchdown here to, like, try and cement this as your game. There's still a little over 20 minutes left, so Orlando has more than enough time to get back in it. But, man, that was a really good challenge by Shannon Harris. That really sucks if you're Anthony Beck. Like, that really hurts you. Let's see some random stuff, okay. The Friars, okay. Scott got up and down from here. Okay, we're just showing. Man, Scotty's not even having a great day, but we're just throwing stuff, okay. Oh, I guess maybe I can do this. Let's see. Remember, wow, that really just plopped right there. That's a huge W. Literally right in the middle of this thing, it just pops up. It's been 1 month. That's crazy. I did not know it just did that like that. Big W, though. If the Storm loses, time to Anthony Beck. I'm going to be honest. I disagree. Because I think that the conversation's been needing to have. Like, I understand that I may have pre-fired it a little bit, but like I've said for a while now, like, Anthony Beck, when the playoffs come, like, here's what I've always said, right? The common denominator. If every year only one thing remains the same and everything else changes, but the result stays the same, the common denominator is probably the reason for it, right? 2023, Week 9, the Dragons Battlehawks was essentially, by almost every stretch of the imagination, a playoff game. Win and in. Technically, Battlehawks, it was win and in. The Dragons were win and in, basically, and it got crushed. They didn't lose. They got crushed. The Brahmas killed them. The Brahmas annihilated them. They destroyed them. The only reason the score was close was because the Brahmas, if you didn't see the game, they went for a handoff and dropped the ball. And St. Louis scored a touchdown. Without that touchdown, it's almost a shutout. Then the week after, or the year after that, DC killed them. They had 2 good drives and Brandon Silvers came in, and that was it. So 3 straight years in a literal or essentially playoff game, Anthony Beck's team has gotten annihilated in them. And at the end of the day, like, it falls on Beck. Because let's say, again, we have 20 minutes left. Let's say DC ends up winning this game 28-15. That's another game where Anthony Beck gets beat badly. Like, come on, man. Anthony Beck, bro. WV legend. You always count him to screw up in the clutch. True. I know what you mean, Adam. It's always crazy. Like I said, this year especially was so weird. Like, it felt like it was going really slow the first 4 weeks. Then it's like, as soon as week 5 hit, it was like an adrenaline shot in the season. Just like, oh my god, it's week 10 now. Like, it's crazy that today is the last 2 streams of this season. It really is crazy, man. Jason Bean in the offense. Let's see what they can do. Field goal is great, but if you're Orlando and you can hold them to a field goal, you will take that. Obviously, you don't want to, but if you hold them to a field goal, you'll take that. You just cannot allow a touchdown. With 22 minutes left, A field goal is fine. It doesn't extend the lead too much, but you cannot allow a touchdown. That's going to make it really tough for you to get back and win this. 17-6, 3 timeouts each team, no challenges. 1st and 10 for the defenders. Motioning receiver from the left to the right. Technically right to left. Ball snapped. Fake the handoff. Bean's going to run it himself. Gets about 6.5 yards before sliding. Saw right there. I mean, in many ways, he's sort of like John Harbaugh post Super Bowl championship. Because the difference is Mike Tomlin can get a terrible roster to the playoffs. We haven't necessarily seen that go. There is an argument with how this team was viewed before the season started. But he's like a John Harbaugh, Sean McDermott type of guy. I wouldn't say Marty Schottenheimer. At least Schottenheimer was close. Like, that's the thing I think about. Like, Schottenheimer was a couple of plays here and there away from winning playoff games. Beck, if he had 2 plays go his way, would still lose by 15. So, like, think of a coach that got absolutely manhandled every year in the playoffs. That's who you would compare him to. Which Marvin Lewis is probably the best, because Lewis had, like, the one really decent year, but even then, like, they always got beat in the first round. But that's how you view it. Now, Bean is coming off the field right now. 2nd and 4. This is going to be E.J. Perry coming in. Please. Oh, no. Orlando, you got a shot to win this game. Oh, no. Spencer Sanders is back in for the DC Defenders. Oh, this is anyone's game now, man. Spencer Sanders is coming in. Oh, no. He better do some good stuff or else he's going to be completely destroyed on Twitter. In shotgun, ball is snapped. They hand it off to the left side of the field. Going to be about a 3-yard gain for the DC Defenders. It's going to be a little bit of a long 3rd and 1, but still going to be 3rd and 1. Worst player. 0-7 is terrible. That's bad. That's bad. I know one of those years was, the Vontaze Burfict year, but that's rough. That's rough. 3rd and 1 for the DC Defenders. 3 receivers in the bunch up top. 3rd and 1. Ball is snapped. They hand it off once again. Cuts inside. Breaks the tackle. 1st down to the 45. The 40. Down at about the 38-yard line. Huge play right there for the DC Defenders. That's about a 15 to 18-yard rush right there for the Defenders on that play. Hey, I guess if you don't have Spencer throw the ball, you don't got to worry about him throwing the ball. Great play right there for the DC Defenders so far. They are in field goal range. Again, Matt McCrane has been a bit shaky, but he can make these long kicks. He has the leg for it. So they are very much in field goal range right now. In shotgun. Ball is snapped. They hand it off to Amos Smith, who cuts to the middle. Gonna get about 3-4 yards in the carry right there. About 4 yards in the carry for the DC Defenders on 1st down. Gonna be 2nd and 6 now. Listing Bean is questionable right now. 2nd and 6 for the DC Defenders. Remember, for 11 months, hey, I got a second one of those big W. Sanders in the quote better help we're bone. Oh my gosh. Crazy. I did not know that YouTube put that there. That's a cool thing they did. Showing how many months it's been whenever you hit a mark. They try to rush it to the right. They end up getting maybe half a yard in that play, if that. Yes, Bean did get hurt apparently. When he was sliding, somebody did fall on him on his shoulder. So right now he is out with a shoulder injury. He's questionable to return. They put Spencer Sanders in. Sup, rookie? Well, yeah, Anthony Beck, take a guess. Both coaches used a challenge. Guess which one had the successful challenge and which one didn't. I know it's going to be shocked, but take a wild guess which one had the successful one. 3rd and 6 of the DC Defenders. Or 3rd and 6 in shotgun. I'm not. Let's see. Ball is snapped. Spencer throw. What in the hell is that throw? Oh my God. That's a pick 6. What a horrible throw by Spencer Sanders. What in the world was that? Orlando gets the pick 6. That makes it 17-12. What in the hell? That was. I got to see a replay. I got to see a replay. There's no way it was that bad a throw. There's no way. There's no way it was that bad. I gotta see a replay. There's no way I just watched what I saw. My eyes are deceiving me. He did not just throw the lightest pass I've ever seen directly to 3 Storm players. I did not just see that. Again, I know he became sort of a meme last year. Why did you not put in EJ Perry? You watched Spencer Sanders for 2 weeks do nothing. Like, I was the defender of him heading into this year, and I immediately was like, okay, he ain't that guy. Why is he still in? I gotta see a replay. Extra point is good. It's a 4-point game. But remember, that's a 1 field goal game. If you kick a 60-yarder, that's a 1-score game. I gotta see his replay, man. This was bad. Okay, let's see the replay. Ball snapped, pressured. Oh my God. That's a contender for worst throw of the year. There's been a couple Harrison Frost ones that were awful. There's been a couple other ones. That's a contender. I don't even know what he was doing. Like, picture yourself as Sanders. You're right there. You literally can't even, like, he barely saw the white shoulder. Like, imagine my hand right here is the defender. This is what he sees. He sees this little thing of white and blue right here. And he said, watch this. That's a horrid throw. Great pick 6 by 43, though. That's a great catch. Malga with the great play. We've seen a lot of defenders drop passes thrown directly to him. That's a great catch by Malga. Great pick 6. But that's a terrible play. I don't know why you brought in Spencer Sanders. If Bean can't go back in, you better be putting EJ Perry in. But I think Bean is going to come back in. We'll see, though. That's up there for worst throw of the year. Like, that is legit. Like, I forgot who threw it, but there was that one really bad throw from a few weeks ago where the dude threw it and was like 8 yards past his receiver, and he threw it directly to a defensive back. That was probably the worst, but that's a top 3 worst throw of the year. Huge play. If you're an Orlando fan, that's huge. It's a 1 field goal game for a 4-point field goal. If you kick a 4-point field goal, it's a 1-score game. But we'll see what DC can do here. Well, back to work. I'll be over here. Oh, man. Hey, it's still a 4-point lead, but yikes. Straight to China. The Shanghai Sharks, baby. They're getting a quarterback, but they play basketball. Hey, Spencer. Why not? So Bean got some tape up stuff. It looks like he's coming back in, which I'm not shocked there with how that is. Let's effing go. Orlando. This is A-Dog. I mean, that was a huge play for Orlando. I mean, that's the break they needed. I mean, it is true. That's the type of break they need, is that sort of play where they get a touchdown because of Spencer Sanders making a crucial mistake. You got to take that. First and 10 now for the DC defenders. Two receivers at the bottom of your screen. One at the very, very top of your screen. They got tight end as well near the top of the screen. Motioning Briley Moore to the bottom now. Ball is snapped. Throws to the right. Check down. Caught up to the 30-yard line. Gets about another yard. So about a 6-yard gain right there. Sanders tried to sell the game. Bro pulled a KJ Costello. If you know, you know. That's what he did. He pulled the KJ Costello. Minus the second touchdown. 2nd and 4 for the DC defenders. The depth chart that we don't know. Ball is snapped. They hand it off. That's going to be a first down. Then some. The 40, the 45. Gets to the 50. Nope. Gets tackled just shy of the 50. About the 48-yard line. DC defenders. Huge play right there. Big rush right there. Gives them the first down. They're about like 8 yards away from being in a 4-point field goal range themselves, which, again, if they are going to be able to kick it, they should try to make it an 8-point game, but they got to get in this scenario, obviously. First step for the DC defenders now. In shotgun, ball snapped. Throws the check down. It gets tipped, and it's incomplete. Great tip right there. That's a great play by the Orlando Storm's D-line right there, getting that pressure. 2nd and 10 for the DC defenders here. Yeah, especially for team morale. If you're DC, this is a must-score drive for team morale, but they got to actually get it, though. That was a great bat right there by 17. That was a great play by Orlando's defense. 2nd and 10 for the DC defenders. 2 minutes and 20 seconds left in the third quarter. Ball is snapped. Fakes the handoff. Throws it over the middle. Caught at the 40. Gets to about the 38-yard line for the first down for DC by Kiki Kuti. First and 10 now for the defenders. They are in field goal range. It's a 3-point field goal range, though, so they can't kick the 4, but they can still get a field goal. I mean, Bean versus the Kings, but go St. Louis always. Man, it would be crazy. Bean going against his former team that traded him, that would be crazy. First and 10 for the DC defenders. Ball is snapped. Throws to the right, gets tipped. Again, great tip of the line of scrimmage by Orlando. Another great play by that Orlando D-line. It's going to be second and 10. Yeah, that was great. I mean, this D-line is doing really good work right now for the Orlando Storm. I love how EJ Perry's right behind Shannon. I bet Shannon told him, hey, if he comes out, you're going right back. You're going in for injuries. No, good. That was a great play. He literally jumped that perfect timing. Great play. 2 out of 3 plays, great ones. Second and 10 for the defenders. In shotgun. Ball is snapped. Hands it off. Gets about 4.5, maybe 5 yards in the carry right there for Abram Smith. Going to be about 3rd and 5 for the Orlando or for the DC defenders. You got 2 plays left. Well, really, depends when they snap this, but should be 2 plays left in this quarter. No time. Remember, both teams have all 3 timeouts, but they are both out of challenges. Shannon Harris used his successfully to get a touchdown off the board, whereas Anthony Beck used his and failed, and even if it succeeded, wouldn't have really done much. Let's see what DC can do here. Ball is snapped, fakes the handoff, throws it deep to left. Ooh, Bradley Moore, the touchdown catch. He mossed his DB. That's a touchdown for DC. That is going to be 23-13. Bradley Moore, I said this early on, man. He had a chip on his shoulder. They gave it to a guy that was on IR for all UFL tight end. Bradley Moore probably feels like he got slighted for that position, and he's been having a great game today. That's a huge touchdown to give them a big lead right there. That's a 10-point lead. They can go right back to getting an 11-point lead if they make this next one. That is huge right there for the DC defenders. We got a 5-way tie at the Memorial Tournament. Oh my God, that's crazy. Man, we got so many good stuff going on right now. Let's see if he makes his extra point to make it a 11-point game once again. Kick is up. It is good. Huge one right there. Let's see, got some random stuff going on. Would be an 8-point game right now if Beck just took the field goal earlier. I mean, this is true, but also could have been a 14-point game if McCrane made his. So, like, there's a couple of them up there, but that was a great play by Bradley Moore right there. His guaranteed high blueprint. Yeah, this is a great game, man. Back to playoff form. Yes, sir. Playoff Beck is back. We love playoff Beck. Oh, man, it's great. 25-22. I had this game being 25-22. Close. At least for DC score. Ain't going to hit 25, but at least close. Orlando, let's see what they can do here. Again, you got a full quarter left. Basically, got like essentially 1 full quarter left if you're Orlando. So you still got time to do something, without a doubt. I mean, again, remember, you have the 4th and 12. So even if you do not get, a field goal on this drive, even if you don't score in this drive, you have time to do something. Like, you still can. But we'll see. Punt or kickoff is up. It is going to be covered at about the 15-yard line. Gets to about the 26-yard line. Yeah, it's the championship game next weekend. They're talking about that right now. We got 50 Cent doing the halftime show. I'd agree, A-Dog. Even if it's not a touchdown, they need a field goal here. Even if you kick the field goal here, you bring it back down to an 8-point game. And then you just have to play one good defensive drive. So I do agree that, like, they don't need a touchdown. They just need to score. If you don't score here and you give DC the ball back, that can really end the game. You just got to score something. We'll see. I picked the Kings to win the next game. I just had that feeling, but Again, we'll see. Oh, batted ball, and it's incomplete. Some great D-line play right now by the last couple of drives. Another great play right there. Another batted ball, but 2nd and 10 for the Orlando Storm now. 2 of 5, 15 yards interception. That interception is crazy. This is the 2nd interception all year. I mean, that's the one thing I was worried about, right? When I said heading into this game, the biggest issue I said with the Storm is if Plummer had any mistake, they'd lose because of the fact they don't have a ground game. And the ground game has just done nothing today. While we're in this commercial break, let's look at this Storm. So, like, oh my, I get it. It's only 9 carries. I understand that. But look at this. Look at this number right here. Look at this number. Like, what are we doing, bro? Like, this is what they do all year. They had a 12-yard rush by Dotson. If you eliminate that 12-yard rush, that's 8 carries for 7 yards. Like, even when they are running the ball, they literally cannot do anything. And that's what I've had. That's the biggest reason I thought that DC was going to win this game. Because at some point, if your ground game literally can't do anything, it's going to catch up to you. And so they need Plummer to play excellent football the rest of this game. We'll see. They basically just went to the end of the quarter. They did like 1 incomplete pass. So it's going to be 2nd and 10 when we have the first play after this quarter timeout. DC, 354 total offensive yards. W, man. Great stat line right there. The Storm, baby. Fear the Storm. Not good. Shame, bro. It's a shame what's happening right now with the Storm, but they're still in it. They're still very much in it. It's only an 11-point game. That's a field goal. That's a touchdown. That's a 2-point conversion. It's not too much. You just got to score quick, and you cannot let DC do anything else. I think we're in the scenario where if DC scores again, a field goal, Orlando might be fine. But if DC scores a touchdown at this point, it feels like any DC touchdown ends this game. Never say never. Again, remember, the Brahmas beat the Showboats by scoring 2 touchdowns in 53 seconds of game time. So never say never, but it feels like if DC scores a touchdown, the game's over. It just, you had that feeling. But again, with a semi-injured Jason Bean, never say never, you know. Derek Hall showing some players from different places at the DC or NICU or whatever. I knew Beck was gonna be back. Yeah, Anthony Beck, baby. That challenge really hurts him. Like that challenge was a bad one. Like, again, we can't say for sure if there was something else he could have challenged since then, but, like, that challenge, even at the moment, was such a bad challenge. It was so early in the game. It was not a truly impactful play, like, relative to what you should be using a challenge for. Like, if it's the NBA or NHL where you get to keep calling challenges until you lose, and it was an obvious one, that's a different story, of course. But when you only have one challenge, like, why? Yeah, Chauncey, that's for sure. Spencer Sanders immediately came in just like KJ Costello. Right to the defense, baby. Oh, my God. Like I said, I was stunned he went in. Like, you watched him play for weeks. They should have just put an EJ Perry at that point. But at least for now, like, from this point on, EJ Perry should be QB2. Because you gave Spencer Sanders one more shot and he immediately threw a pick 6. Like, yikes. Yikes for sure. $0.50 to the NFL CFL now. You'll have that show. It really is crazy. That, I mean, when you consider the fact that he's done like all the big shows, it really is crazy. Football guy, baby. Oh no, am I seeing what I'm seeing in chat? Is this almost game over? I'm looking forward to the halftime show. I hope it's decent. I think it's gonna be better than Whale. Pass thrown. It's batted. It's intercepted by Derek Robertson. He gets to the 10. They're gonna call him out of bounds about the 5-yard line. Depends where they put it, but that's game. That's a huge interception right there. That's an interception right there for the DC defenders. Oh man, they're literally like right in striking distance. This could be game over. Like I said, if DC scores a touchdown, I think this is game over. That is a terrible one right there. They're gonna get it at looks like about the 10-yard line is where they're gonna call it. Yeah, you're right, Brandon. For the first time, we're getting the hosting team. Like, I know technically the Maulers were the hosting team, but, like, legitimately, it's the first time we're actually seeing it happen. Man, that was bad. I mean, that was the fourth batted ball at the line of scrimmage in, like, 5 plays, not counting field goals. So, like, it was bound to happen, but I would say A-Dog, if they score the touchdown, it is. If they're able to hold him to a field goal, I wouldn't say it's the dagger, but if they do get the touchdown, that's the dagger. Touchdown here by DC is the dagger. That puts it at least a 17-point lead up to 18. I think that's over. I don't see Orlando scoring 2 touchdowns and 2 3-point conversions or, field goals and all that. I just don't see that happening. So if it's a touchdown, it's game over. Can see you next live stream. It's not looking good right now. Oh, are they really going to turn this over? Wow! Holy bailout for Orlando. Orlando's going to get the call overturned. That's a holy bailout right there. Orlando's got another shot. That's crazy. Orlando gets saved by the refs. They want it close, little true. He seems like always go against my bats. It's something else. Good old Dean Blandino, Mike Pereira, the 2 most hated men in the UFL. Third and 10, that's huge for Orlando. You still got a full quarter left, basically. 3rd and 10. You still obviously got to get this first down here because, but 3rd and 10. Worst case, you punt it. It's a hell of a lot better than it was, but we'll see. Third and 10. Ball is snapped. Plummer's moving. He's rolling to his right. He's going to run for it. Try to do a stutter step. First down, Jack Plummer. That's going to be first down for the Orlando Storm. He needs about 3 extra yards after that as well. That's huge right there for them. Big play for Orlando right there, getting that first down rush. That was really needed. That's going to really change momentum. Getting both the turnover, overturned and that first down is huge for the momentum. That's huge right there. And DC is going to call a timeout. You hate seeing a timeout be called when you're on defense the first down like that, but it is what it is. Derek Roberson is currently shaking up in the sideline. That's not good for DC at all. Dealing with a couple of injuries. Yeah, and it is still an 11-point game, so it's a 4-point field goal and a regular touchdown and all that, or it's, a field goal and an 8-point, whatever, you got all that. One sack, 2 TFL showing right there. The yearly 49ers team, everybody getting hurt. I guess they're playing near a electric substation or whatever. Gotta love it. Let's see what happens here. 1st and 10 for the Orlando Storm. In shotgun, they got 1 receiver at the far top of your screen. They got 2 at the bottom of your screen. Tight end is also at the top, but he's motioning down to the bottom now. In shotgun, motioning some guys again. Ball is snapped. Hands it off. Rushes inside. Great rush. First down and then some. Finally, some good running by the Orlando Storm. This is what they needed. They needed to run the ball well. They had to run. If they cannot run the ball well down, they're screwed. This is what they need. That's 2 separate 10-yard rushes for the Storm. That's exactly what they needed. That's a huge first down for the Storm. 1st and 10 for the Orlando Storm now. They have not crossed the 50, so they technically could still punt. 2 receivers at both sides of the ball. Plummer looks in the middle of the field, throws to the left, is caught by Roland. Almost nobody was really on him. First down the Storm, and about 2 yards, a 12-yard reception right there. They give you a reason to pick it up again. Oh my God, true. I do agree with that sector. That's part of why, granted, I didn't think the injury was going to happen, but that's part of why I thought the Kings Battlehawks winner was going to win it all. Just the way these 2 teams are, it really did feel like that whoever goes to the next game is going to be at a disadvantage. Even though, DC would have the home field advantage, you know what I mean. But 1st and 10 for the Orlando Storm now. Ball is snapped. Fake the handoff. Plummer throws a check down. Great tackle. That's a bad catch by the receiver right there. I believe that was Rashawn Corbin. Should not have caught that ball. That's a bad catch right there. That's the one where, like, I understand it's tough to see behind your head, but you caught that ball. You actually lost your team 8 yards catching that ball. And now Anthony Beck is calling for incomplete. Gotta love it. Hey, you could have challenged it if you had a challenge flag. Just saying, Beck. But you know what? It is still 2nd and 18. You still could definitely do something here. And it looks like they're going to review this. Let's see. Okay. Ooh. Hey, I see a slower replay. That's close. That's either an incredible catch or it hit the ground. I think it hit the ground. Yep, they're going to call it incomplete. Another bailout for Orlando, baby. Dean Blandino doing everything in his power to try and get this W for the Storm. Now, in all seriousness, though, 2nd and 10 for the Storm. Ball snap. They fake the handoff. Quick throw to the right. Caught over the middle of the field. Great throw and catch right there. Going to be about an 8-yard gain. Broken across. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, this game is crazy for sure. This is a great playoff game, man. 3rd and 2 for the Orlando Storm. I would kick the field goal. If you do not get the first down here, you kick the field goal, get some points. In shotgun, ball snap. They hand it off. 1st down, Orlando, and about 2 extra yards as well. 1st down for the Orlando Storm. Going to be about 11 minutes left when they snap this ball. Ball is snapped. Plummer rolls to his right. Throws the jump ball out of bounds. And he's still got 11 minutes. You definitely got a decent amount of time because remember, 2 minutes, the clock is a lot slower. So you still do have a decent amount of time. Though I do agree, like, even though technically you don't have to score here, you got to get a field goal, man. You get any sort of score here, that's huge. If you don't, it's rough. But if they get even a field goal here, that's 100% what they need for sure. Wearing a Storm t-shirt secretly, oh my gosh. 2nd and 10 for the Orlando Storm. 3 receivers at the bottom of your screen. Now forward, Sean Corbin. Throws the pass to Sean Corbin, who does catch it. Great tackling by DC. It's going to be stopped at the line of scrimmage. They might even call it a half-yard loss. So it's going to be about 3rd and 10. They might call it 3rd and 10 and a half. It's going to be about 10 minutes left when they snap this ball. Again, if you don't get the first down, kick the field goal. You need to get points in this drive. Even if it's only a field goal, you got to score, especially considering they got very lucky with the bailout interception earlier. You got to get at least this field goal. In shotgun, 3rd and 10. Ball is snapped. Plummer throws it over the middle of the field. Caught at the 10-yard line. It's going to be up to about the 8-yard line. Great play by the Orlando Storm. 1st down at about the 8-yard line. 1st and goal from the 8. Now, they've been very, very suspect in this position in the field. They have not been that good in the red zone. But 1 touchdown is going to be huge for them if they're able to get it. And they're going to be forced to go for 2. They should go for 2 if they get the touchdown. 1st and goal now for the Orlando Storm. And Plummer is upset about faking injuries and stuff. Saying the DC's trying to fake injuries. 1st and goal then for the Orlando Storm after the alleged fake cramp. They got flopping and we got flopping and it wasn't matter now. Yeah, baby, we getting flopping everywhere, bro. Is Josh Allen on the field? Is he flopping? Gets hit in the head. Man, Josh Allen's the only guy that might rival Shea for the biggest flopper in all of sports. That's a good battle. For the battle of flopper of all time. Or not all time, but current day, that would be a good one. Rolling 1st down. Let's see, trending. A lot of random stuff trending that I can't believe is trending. I mean, let's see. PGA right now. Wow, there really hasn't been much change still. Oh, four-way tie now. Ooh. There we go. Okay. Just want to stop the game. In his league, aren't they getting an OKC team? Oh, that's right. They're getting an OKC team. Oh, no. I know what team this guy's playing for. I mean, hey, we've heard about that in the NFL. You know, got to take down, you know, got to go down to get your little, you know, get your flag and all that. You know, get the timeout, I mean. But yeah. Yeah, they really got to try and make people watch this series. Because, like, man, Spurs, Knicks, that series looks like it's over. I mean, you got Knicks have home court advantage. They got to win 2 games out of 5, and 3 of them are in New York. I mean, like, that's really bad for San Antonio. MVP flopping right now and complaining. Yeah, he is the flopper in the NFL, man. He is the flopper. I mean, dude will get he'll instigate something, they'll get touched, he'll like fall down. I mean, he's worse than like La Liga players. That's bad. I mean, he makes like Vinny Jr. and Neymar look like they get hit and actually shot on field. Compared to what he does. Gotta bring back the Outlaws, that'd be cool. I mean, I know people say, oh, the logo's similar. You can read it, the logo. I mean, they redid Gamblers, and I thought it was a decent rebrand. Like, the actual logo's like, you can do that for Outlaws, have 2 bandit teams. Why not? You got 2 horse teams, have 2 bandit teams. You know what I mean? Man, it's a long injury timeout. If the Spurs can win 2 straight MSG, they can have no problem winning a third and then going back home in Game 7. I mean, that is true, except that you can also then say the Knicks can win 4 of them. Like, that's the thing. Like, the Spurs winning 2 in New York, I just can't see that. Like, that's how I view it, is like, I'm viewing it, they have to go 2 of 3 in New York. I just can't see that happening. Like, it might, you never say never, but I think the Spurs are probably done. Like, you got to remember, the Spurs as a team have been playing basically as good as they can. Like, I get you could start Dylan Harper over De'Aaron Fox, but Brunson has played 1 good quarter out of 8 quarters. He's played like 1 good quarter, and that's about it. So if he plays well, you're cooked. Bro, we're in commercial break. Like, I'm just saying you ain't. Like, I get that you probably aren't watching it, but like, what, am I supposed to just yap about Jack Plummer for like 10 minutes during a 10-minute commercial break? Like, what are we doing here? First and goal for the Orlando Storm. False start on the Orlando Storm. They only won 1 in New York. Yeah, true. Bad penalty take right there. Puts you back at about first and goal from the 12-yard line instead of the 7. So now instead of having that built-in first down cushion of an extra 3 yards because of where you got it, you're now losing that cushion. How do you want to take? Got a little bunch at the bottom of the field right there. Ball is snapped. They hand it off to the right side by Corbin, and he goes out of bounds for like maybe a 2-yard gain right there. The mission isn't the one that wants not get swept. True. Sadly true. I bet Beck really wished that challenge right now. Yeah, that was a bad challenge, man. That was a waste of a challenge earlier in the game. But I know we talk about like ad nauseum, but with Anthony Beck, like has historically been an inept playoff coach, and he keeps that up this year. They hand it off to Deshaun Corbin to rush up the middle, and it's about a 2.5-yard gain. They might be giving him that extra one. Again, they might stop the forward progress, but they might call it about a 4.5-yard gain, which if it is, it's be at the 5-yard line for Orlando. 3rd and goal. The Kings play, their game starts technically, and I think technically it's like 24 minutes. I think it's supposed to be like 6:05 is official kickoff. So in about like, basically just view it 20 minutes is when their game starts, which I'll be switching streams after this one. In shotgun for the Storm at 3rd and goal. Ball is snapped. Plummer's going to throw it to the right side of the field. Incomplete. You got to kick the field goal here. Orlando, like I said, Orlando needs to score. I understand that a touchdown is huge. You need points. I would kick the field goal here. Your red zone offense has not been good all day. If you don't score it here, you're almost just throwing the game away because DC is going to be able to kill at least another 2 minutes of clock. I like the decision to kick the field goal here. This is the right call. The other time, I hated the pass. I thought they should have ran it. The other time, I understood it. This time, you got to kick the field goal. 23-yard line. Kick is up. It is good. It is going to be 24-13. DC has the lead over Orlando with 8 minutes left. Back to a one-score game. It's 8 points, so touchdown, 2-point conversion. Yeah, DC needs to just try and kill this clock for sure. They definitely got to get that. DC's goal is probably their best case scenario is a 5-minute kill and a field goal. If they're able to pull that off, that would be what they really need. Like that's basically game over if they're able to pull it off. Granted, killing that time, it's gonna be tough. We'll see. Yeah, the Orlando defense got to do their job for sure. 8-point game, man. It's a close game. But DC's got that lead. We'll see what they can do though. This is where DC's ground game needs to really step it up. Deion Jackson has been a very like super hot, super cold kind of guy. They need him to play well. As for Orlando, they can get a turnover. Jason Bean playing with a suspect shoulder because of the injury earlier. That could really help out Orlando. We'll see. But it's game, man. Anthony Beck getting a postseason pick six. I love him too. I got the Kings of the Storm. Kings winning all. I have the Kings winning it all. I did pick DC to win this game. I thought there was a lot of things that were just not going to go well for the Storm. Back in Corbin. But I do have the Kings. I think whoever wins the next game wins this championship. I think this is, again, a lot of people said that about the West and East in the NBA Finals. A lot of people said the East was just whoever gets second. Now it looks like that's a guaranteed bet for almost a guaranteed bet as they're going to win it. So never say never, but I thought that whoever won the Kings Battlehawks game was going to win it all. Because if the Battlehawks win it, no matter how they win it, that really bodes well for them winning the championship. And if the Kings win, it's because they're probably just continuing their super hot streak. Yeah, Smith has been pretty good so far, too. He's been looking like, there's been flashes where he's looked back like his 2023 form. Yeah. No offensive touchdown yet. It's crazy. Good old Orlando, baby. Good old Orlando. You know what, really? This in many ways is like that 2024 playoff game. If you remember, this is a lot like that game, right? The only like real touchdown, or one of the only touchdowns St. Louis scored, was off a fumble 6, which they only got because San Antonio dropped the ball. Just like they got a pick 6 because Spencer Sanders threw the ball, which that's a risky thing right there. And the rest of the game wasn't really that close. It's looking a lot like that game. Now, that's not to say it's going to end the same way, but I'm pretty sure that game literally was like 25-15 or something like that. So it's almost the same. We still got 8 minutes left. Orlando can still very much pull this off. We'll see. 6-7 day. Oh no. Daytona. Man, Orlando, maybe they get a turnover here. That'd be huge for them. Yeah, I'll do it in Columbus. No, we'll go back to Daytona. Gotta love it. 8 minutes left. We'll see what DC can do. Let's see how good this kickoff is. 8 minutes left. Crowd still looks pretty good. It looks like people have left, but it still looks pretty good, all things considered. Like, it looks like a decent crowd there, even after people have left. Touchback. Yes, the Storm are wearing their orange jerseys. They have worn their alternates. It pretty much seems that they did a smart thing, which is they made the extra jerseys to where if they're in Florida and they're playing like during the day, wear the orange, because orange is it's a lot cooler of a color than black. Black is the single worst color you can wear in the heat because it just absorbs heat. So, very smart to use this one. I mean, that's the main reason they got these orange jerseys, was for this scenario. So, good, rare, but good forward thinking by the UFL for sure right there. So touchback on the kickoff is going to give a really good field position for DC at the 40-yard line. Let's see if they can kill some clock here, or if Orlando can get a 3-and-out here. 3 receivers at the bottom of your screen. 1st and 10 for the DC defenders. Ball is snapped. They hand it off. Great pressure by Orlando. It's going to be about a 2.5, 3-yard loss for the DC defenders right there. Plus orange is new black. That's a great first play right there by the Orlando defense. That's exactly what you want. That's a 2-yard loss, forcing a 2nd and 12. Great play by the Orlando defense. They really need to get this ball back quickly for sure. You do not want DC to be able to kill, let's say, 4 minutes. You want to get this ball back probably at 4 minutes left is probably the max you can live with, is 4 minutes left. If it's anything less, it's going to be really tough. 7.5 minutes left for the defenders. Ball is snapped, throws it to the left, caught, and he goes down. It's going to be about a 7-yard gain. Going to be 3rd and 5. I was just there. They have only half the stadium filled, and it was 2 packed. 1 booth for beer. 300 people in line. Oh my gosh. I mean, a lot of it is it's just the World Cup. It's the big issue is the World Cup forcing them out of Inter and Co. Which it sucks that that's what happened, but I'm just glad I didn't go to Camping World, because I think technically they could have gone back to Camping World if they wanted to. Thank God they didn't. That would have been death trap. I mean, Camping World's probably like the worst stadium you can go to in Florida or in the Orlando area, just because it's so hot. Gonna be a timeout call here by DC. That's rough if you're a DC fan. It's their 2nd timeout call. They're down to 1 timeout left. Orlando does have all 3 though. 3rd and 5 for the defenders. I will say, if you get 3.5 yards, there's an argument to go for it. If you're at 4th and 2 or less, there's an argument to go for it. Because it being an 8-point game, because how time works, you could make the case that going for it is the better play. It's a risky one, but if you get, let's say, 3 to 4.5 yards, I think there's an argument to go for it. I really do love Louisville's jerseys. At the very beginning, I was a bit suspect of them, but honestly, I think they look really solid. And Orlando's, I like the orange. That's what I'll say. I like the orange jerseys. The other 2, not as much, but the home jerseys especially not, but I do like their orange jerseys. The orange jerseys are nice. 3rd and 5 for the defenders. This is a huge play. If they can extend this clock, it's another 2 minutes off the clock. Every first down is basically 2 more minutes that you're just off the clock. Ball is snapped. Bean is pressured, rolls to his right. Gets to the 40. The first down and out of bounds at about the 46-yard line. That's a huge first down right there for DC. It's going to be able to kill another few. He does go out of bounds, so they're going to lose the extra 5 seconds runoff. Instead of starting immediately, it's going to be at 5 left. But they're still going to be able to eat up some more clock. Next snap is going to be at about 5 minutes and 40 seconds left in theory. Great play right there for DC. Again, any score here for DC pretty much ends the game. Not for sure. A field goal, not for sure, but it's a big deal. They fake the handoff, throw it to Bradley Moore, who gets inside, smartly stays in bounds, 2-yard gain for the defenders. Remember, it's not a huge difference, but if you go out of bounds, it does stop the clock for the first 5 seconds of the play clock. So if you go in bounds, it's about 7 seconds extra you're losing. So you want to stay in bounds. Right now, out of bounds is only a 7-second difference, but that still adds up. But that's a great play by Bradley Moore. It looked like he was thinking about going out of bounds, decided to stay and take the hit. It's a very smart play by Bradley Moore. 2nd and 8 for the DC defenders. We got 5 minutes and 45 seconds left in the game. Orlando 3 timeouts, DC 1. Ball is snapped. They hand it off to Abram Smith, who goes inside, gets about 2 yards. They're at borderline 4-point field goal range right here. But I got a little under 5 minutes. So when they snap this ball, it should be at about 5 minutes left exactly. 3rd and 7 now. Wow, 3rd and 7. They did not give him a lot right there. Let's see. If Bean would have done this, he would have stayed with the Kings. Good old Jason Bean. In shotgun. Ball is snapped, fakes the handoff. Throws it over the middle deep. It is too high, incomplete. They're going to be forced to kick a field goal here. This might be a 4-point field goal. It's really close to it, but it looks like official attendance was 6,300 people for this game. This would be a 4-point field goal. This would be the 3rd one for McCrane if he makes this, and this would essentially be game over. If he makes this kick, that's game. That's a 12-point lead with like 4 minutes left. That's essentially game. Actually, Riss, that was the right play. That was 100% the right play. Running the ball would have been a really bad call because then you would have put yourself out of 4-point field goal range. So in that scenario, passing was the only thing he could have done. Kick is, oh, and it's beautiful. It's a good kick. That's a 4-point field goal. That's his 3rd 4-point field goal on the year. That is more than the entire rest of the league combined. That's essentially game over. 4 minutes and 17 seconds left. That is essentially game over right there. That is a huge play gosh. That's crazy. That's basically game over right there for sure. That's a huge play right there. Jason Bean looking excited on the sideline. Go Storm, get him next year. I mean, hey, first year for the Storm, and they were able to get to the playoffs. It's Anthony Beck, man. Like, again, common denominator. 23 Battlehawks, 24 Battlehawks, 25 Battlehawks, now 26 Storm. All got bounced in their first essential playoff game because we're counting 23 Battlehawks. Yeah, Anthony Beck was there in all of them. Just what he does. Lose to Bean are going to be crashing out. That'd be, like I said, I think it's going to be Audi. I think it's going to be DC versus the Kings, but I think Kings do pull it up. We'll see. Like, seriously, A-Dog, like, I don't know how long you've been watching the channel if you have it all. I've said this for at least 8 weeks now. I do not understand why they kept using Jashawn Corbin. The Kings literally signed the guy they cut, and he has been great for them. The fact that you kept Jashawn Corbin as your only running back the whole year, despite him having one decent game back in week 1. That's it. I mean, it's mind-numbing that Anthony Beck decided to keep with this run game. That is terrible team building. It really is. Yeah, these are the worst in the league now. Not only won the championship, but they're making the United Bowl in 26. Hey, I mean, I did have the Storm really bad this year, and they made the playoffs. So, like, it just seems every year there's, like, one team, the Kings. I picked the Kings to be really bad, and I think they're going to win. I think it's every year there's, like, one team I picked to be bad, just, like, snap the fingers, ends up being great. It's just crazy how it works out. 1st and 10 for the Orlando Storm with 4 minutes left. Ball is snapped. They fake the handoff. Plummer rolls out to the right, throws to KJ Kamler for the first down. It's about a 16-yard gain on the play. They got to score quick. They got to score like that before the 2-minute warning. If they do not score before the 2-minute warning, it's fully over. If they do, then they have the 4th and 12. They have a shot. They got 3 timeouts left. We'll see. For those that say the curse isn't real. Good old Anthony Beck, baby. Ball is snapped. Pass over the middle. Great pass right there. First down again by Chris Rowland. Why couldn't the Storm do this the rest of the game? DC, stop playing prevent defense if you want to win. If you want to lose, play prevent defense. As we all know, prevent defense prevents you from winning. I believe it's going to be injury timeout for DC. I will be right back. I really got to use the bathroom real quick. Okay, I've been holding this in for a minute. Okay, I will be back real quick. Dude, incomplete pass. Dude, why is it when I don't go to the bathroom during the injury timeout, it's like 2 minutes long, but when I go, when it's like, okay, touchdown Chris Rowland. It is now a 6-point game. They went for 3 to try and make it a field goal game. We're not able to get it, so it is going to be a touchdown and an extra point. Yeah, going to miss the score. Literally, there was an injury timeout like 10 minutes ago that lasted like 2 minutes. Yet this time it was like 20 seconds. Like, what are we doing here? But okay. Orlando has the 4th and 12. So if you don't watch the UFL normally, then instead of an onside kick, you can do it, but you can do the 4th and 12, where you go for a 4th and 12 to convert to get another drive. This isn't game over yet. Even if they don't get this, it's not game over. Orlando still has all 3 timeouts and the 2-minute warning, so they can definitely get the ball back. However, if they don't get it, it will hurt them. I do think that they should go for it, though. Anyway, you're already down a touchdown. I understand a field goal makes it a 9-point game, but still. But we'll see. 3 minutes left in the game. Yeah, he definitely needs that challenge for sure. Mm. 3 minutes left in the game. Let's see what happens. They're gonna kick it off. I'm not a fan of this decision. I'm not a fan of this decision. I get it. They have the timeouts. You're giving DC the ball back, though. You're allowing them to end the game. I'm not a fan of this call. We just saw this last week. DC had the same mindset last week, for those who didn't watch it. Muffed kickoff up to the 5, the 10. Going to be down about the 15-yard line. Last week, it was the very same sort of situation. DC decided to punt it because they viewed, hey, we have time to get it back. And they basically, like, they did technically get it back, but it's far too late. I'm not a huge fan of this. Because if, let's say, DC gets a first down, even if it's just one, they can eat up some clock. They can punt the ball. I'm not a huge fan of this call. Looks like it's going to be a penalty on defense, though, or on the receiving team. They're still talking about this, though. Yep, receiving team penalty is going to be about a 7-yard penalty because it's half the distance to the goal line. So at the 7-yard line. But yeah, this was definitely not... I mean, hey, it might work out for Beck, but I'm not a fan at all of them going for this. Or, like, you know, of them kicking it off, but we'll see what happens. The Louisville Kings, baby. Ball is snapped. They try to hand it off. They get a great stop by Orlando. They're going to be stopped at the line of scrimmage. That's huge. That's a big one right there. Finally scored an offensive touchdown. Yeah, it took them long enough. That is true. It took them forever, but they did finally get it. Yeah, Shanahan's calling a timeout here. 2nd and 10 for the defenders. First down here, obviously, is huge. Oh, Orlando called a timeout there. So yeah, Orlando did call a timeout there. So DC can get a first down. That's at least 30 seconds. They can knock off the clock. So you're in this scenario now where if you're DC, you just need at least 1 first down. Any first down is huge for you. But we'll see what happens. DC, yeah, Dean Blandino, man. 2nd and 10 for the DC defenders. In shotgun. Ball is snapped. They fake the handoff. They throw it. I hate that play call. Incomplete. That's a terrible play call right there. You got to eat up clock. I understand that it could have worked if he was able to throw a better pass, had the receiver broken off further. You are in the scenario where you need to eliminate timeout so your defense can do something. Instead, you just gave them a free timeout. Not a fan of the play. If you had 3 timeouts, I could see it because then you could also play the timeout game. But now you're pretty much forced to throw it. You have to throw it here because you need the first down. You're down by, or you're up by 6, not 7. Really, really bad. We'll see what they do here. They got to go for a pass here. They got to go for the first down. Orlando called a timeout anyway? Well, I mean, yeah, I guess they could because it was within 2 minutes. So, like, technically, I get it. I understand. But it's still, you would have saved 7 seconds. I wouldn't have called a timeout there. Well, because you're not within 2 minutes. If you're without 2 minutes, the only thing with throwing the ball is the 7 seconds in between the play ending and the play clock hitting 30 seconds. So it's a 7-second difference. So it's not the end of the world, but it was a bad call by Beck to use a timeout there. I would have just taken the 30 seconds, but whatever. Ball is snapped, being rolling, pressure, throws to the right side of the field. Caught, first down for DC. And with Orlando using that timeout, Orlando's only down to 2 timeouts now, including 2-minute warning. That's bad. It's still not fully over, but it's not looking good for Orlando. That might be game right there. That's not roughing the passer. I get he could have held it back. That's a good no call. They should not call that. Yes, run the ball. If you're DC, you got to run the ball here to win the game. I will say, if you're on first down, you could. First down, you could throw it, but you're not going to. Down for about a 4-yard gain. And that's going to take us to the 2-minute warning or a timeout by Anthony Beck. Yeah, definitely make it look closer than it is, but yeah. And 2-minute warning. Orlando's got to stop him here. Any first down is game over for Orlando. But we will see. Okay, they did let them get the timeout. So you get 1 play for DC. Again, if you're DC, you technically will know because the clock stops. Yeah, we'll see what DC does, but if they get a first down, it's game over. If they don't, Orlando still technically has a shot to win it. But, gotta see. The other game is also starting as well. Backed in the challenge, man. That was such a bad challenge call. It really was. That was such a bad challenge. That really was stupid. This is true. If they don't stop him, it's over. If they don't get to stop here, it's over. I don't know if I'd say unlucky. I mean, there was a lot of really beneficial calls he got. I'm not saying they were wrong calls, but he got a lot of really good bailout calls in this game. The Spencer Sanders pick 6. Like, in many ways, this game is closer than it really should be because of those things. And that's game over. First down for DC. That's game over. 2-minute warning is going to be hit. I get that technically it's not game over, but it's game over. And again, it comes down to like coaching, man. It's the run game, which is coaching across the year, and it's just dumb decisions. Why do you go with Deshaun Corbin the whole year? I'll never know. Why do you use a challenge on something that had no business being challenged in the first place? Never know. I will be, right when this game is officially over, I'll be putting a link in chat and I'll be switching to the other stream to do the other game. Honestly, no. Like, honestly, no. No, I have not. I'm not Reckless Ben. I have not been arrested. I think that when you look at it, yes, I am doing the Battlehawks. I'll start that game once this one's officially over. But with Anthony back, it's just not good. Like, at some point, man, like, you ain't going to get it done. Like, you get chance after chance after chance after chance after chance. You can't do it. It's like, what are we doing here? Like, Anthony Beck, man. It's terrible. Hey, no problem, Riz, no problem. Hey, now, wait, let's hold on a second for DC. They still got to win the second title. They still got to win that game. You know what I mean? So, hold on a second. They still got to win the game. Oh, we better not be doing this, Fox. We better not be having an issue while streaming this game. But we'll see. This game has been exciting. I'm excited too. True. Just ruined my day. Yeah, last night my night was ruined after that god awful own goal by Jordan Martin, hitting it in our own damn goalie's skate for some stupid reason. God, that sucked. Make this great 4-0 comeback to then lose because of a... Oh, my God. That was terrible. Okay, come on, Fox. I need you to, like, do well over here for when I put that game on. Not an excuse. Okay, we're having to laugh some of these. What a game, man. Anthony Beck is not that guy. Not that guy to win in the playoffs. If you count week 9 against the Sea Dragons, he is now 0-4 in playoff games. Anthony Beck, baby. Anthony Beck, baby. Yeah, we should have, but Jordan Martin hit an own goal. Sean Walker hit an own goal. It's like, come on, man. After the first round last year, back in that guy. Hey, I know, but I know. Anthony Beck, man, lost to Dragons, lost to the Brahmas, lost to the Defenders, about to lose to the Defenders again. This could be game, officially game. Ball is snapped, and it's a 3-yard loss for the DC Defenders after that play right there. Fox, come on, man. Second down now for the DC Defenders. In shotgun. The Dragons in this game. Jeez, oh my gosh. Ball is snapped, hands it off, cuts to the left side of the field. Going to be about a 4-yard gain for the DC Defenders. Yeah, hopefully next week will be a good one. That's for sure. Hopefully that'll be a good atmosphere. Yeah, they're talking about the super challenge that Beck wasted. Yes, sir. Wasted that challenge for nothing. Even if it worked, it would have sucked. It was a dumb challenge no matter how you view it, and it didn't work. DC, baby. 3rd and 8. Gotta wait a few seconds. I mean, they should be able to just do the punt strategy where you do the punt, have your punter run back. Like, you should be able to do that to pretty much end this game if you do it well enough. Honestly, Bean should just... I'm not a fan of that. And it's going to be at a 4-yard gain. I'm going to be real with you. Like, they're going to be able to ice this game. I would have loved if they just had Bean get the ball and just told him to run backwards to just run some clock. But, yeah, 4th down. So that will be game over. The DC Defenders will win this game 28-22. I'm going to put the link in chat for this one. I will be starting that stream in like a second. So that's for the other streams. I will be there in a second. Thank you guys for watching this one. If you're only watching this one, I hope you guys have a great night. And again, if not, I will be going to the other stream right now. See you guys there.